me and Ryan have been officially welcomed to the jungle that is Barstool Sports.
Our white whale, Sidney Crosby.
Shave his head! Shave his head! Shave his head!
Ryan Whitney, Paul Bissonette, R.A., Mike Grinelli, Spittin Chiclets.
Good morning, hockey fans. What a wonderful Monday it is, and welcome to episode 564 of the Spittin Chiclets podcast. The man in the middle is smiling and dancing. I don't know why, because he's dead. Keith lives. I live. Biz, you stink. The Leafs, you suck. And welcome to Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney Vodka. Thank you so much for everyone who sent over some pictures of a beautiful May weekend drinking Pink Whitney. There were Leafs fans who were just drowning their sorrows in Pink Whitney. There are fans everywhere, Florida fans, Edmonton fans, just loving life drinking Pink Whitney because their teams aren't choke artist losers. So thank you very much. Take your shot with Pink Whitney. Go buy a big old bottle or go buy some nips and enjoy your spring and summer with Pink Whitney. Biz.
How did you even get to sleep last night?
Oh, buddy.
I didn't.
Oh,
I was
buddy.
laughing all night.
I had the best time of my life. And let me tell you, I was at a
6-1
rink.
Whitney.
I was at a rink all day Sunday, pretty much. My son playing in something called the Town Cup. Everyone's asking me, what do you think? What do you think? I said, what do I think? I said, they're going to get demolished. It's the Leafs. They're the biggest bunch of losers you could ever imagine. They never get it done when it matters. They never do anything good when the moment's at the biggest time, right? This team is exactly who you thought they were. There's no questions about it. There's no wondering. There's no sitting around thinking, this is our year. Hey, oldie, put on my yellow shirt.
Hey, Illuminati,
Hey,
let's grow our
4-5.
noses out together.
Hey, Shanaplan. Hey, Leafs fans, we got it this year. No, you don't. You'll never get it.
Hey,
You
Oldie
don't
gave
got
us
it.
Oldie gave us a puncher's chance. Take it back.
Oldie's a fucking turncoat. He's dead to me.
Oh, here we go. Jans is gonna cry more than me this fucking podcast.
No,
I will say
I'm
though,
not.
I'm surprised that you thought that was going to be the outcome. I'm surprised you didn't think they actually maybe had a chance to keep it close, get it to overtime, but you just never go full Leafs.
Get it to overtime? Who is 6-1?
I know. I meant like when he was talking to the parents like during the day about the outcome. Like I thought they were going to give us an iconic game. Like maybe they end up losing it. Maybe
Okay,
a close
why?
1-goal game, but you never. You said why?
Why?
Well, I mean, but first of all, because I felt like they took their dump in Game 5. Like that would have been their dump. So
What
then
was
they
the score
go
of that game? Sorry, I forget.
6-1.
Oh, it was 6.
They
Oh,
went-
6-1
they-
both?
They went Irish Travelers Game 5 and
Well-
Game 7. They went full Irish Traveler on me.
Oh,
Like I think that Tkachuk and Marshall must have planned that together.
I think the league did.
Oh,
double
I
Irish
think the
travelers.
league's had
we
enough
got
of you.
double. We got fucking. We got traditional salad twice. Hold the tradition.
We got
No,
two
keep the
different
tradition.
managers.
The
Two different
tradition's the
managers.
same.
Oh
The
my
tradition, the
god!
tradition lives forever.
Yeah.
Like
I
I was actually a little concerned for them. Like the Leafs in their D zone, like let alone having to dodge hit, they were dodging fucking Coors Lights and Molson
getting-
beers by
Are we getting to that now?
that was
jerseys.
crazy.
It's
Sure.
disgusting. It's
No,
honestly
no. I
disgusting.
think one of my. So go ahead, Keith. Sorry. I just have so many thoughts in my
Oh,
mind.
there's a lot to get to here. There's a lot to unpack.
Like you wonder why people don't want to play in Canada or in Toronto in these big market things. You got people throwing jerseys and full beers on the ice. It's absolutely disgusting.
Look at the refs working overtime, just trying to make calls.
I
Picking
thought
up.
he had a day off.
Hey. I have never laughed as hard watching a broadcast second intermission, TNT, Biz, Liam, Ace, and Army. And Ace here says, why are they booing? What the fuck are you talking about, buddy? They're getting outchanced 75-2 in game 7. They're down 3-0. Why are they? He goes, it's a 60-minute game. I said, buddy, it's a 60-year curse. Why are they?
I was waving the white flag. Just make it 40. Get me out of here. I want to go
looking for flights.
Got a promo. Hey,
I can't believe they're booing. There's 20 minutes left. No, buddy. No.
Yeah.
There's nothing left. Nothing.
They go, what would you say if you were the coach going in for a speech?
Dude, that was unbelievable.
Fucking go on Expedia and catch a fucking flight hotel deal to Cancun, get the fuck out of this city before they start pipe bombing your house, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Like, get in the witness fucking protection program.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hey, Chief, what forecheck we starting the third with? I'd get your families out of their house right now. I would consider putting the house on the market. Guys, let's just make sure don't leave your house anymore.
Yeah. Just leave it.
Can I go through some of my favorite tweets that I read post game? We want to talk about the game.
That's a good place to start. Place to start.
Okay. This is from Drew Livingston. Leafs core 4 in games 5, 6, and 7 from 2019 to 2025. William Nylander, 20 games played, 8 goals, 8 assists.
Not bad.
The guy is easily the one player you could never get rid of.
So
no
core 1.
So core 1. Matthews, 18 games played, 8 goals, 4 assists. Now, there's another tweet that goes along with this. Tavares, 17 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists. Mitch Marner, 20 games played, not 1 goal, 7 assists.
Oh.
Let's go to another one. Dan Tenser. And this one. The Oilers have as many series wins in the last 3 weeks than the Maple Leafs have in 20 years.
Unbelievable.
You made that one up, Whit. That was you.
Yeah, that last one's not real, right? That's
what do you mean? The Leafs have won 2 series in 20 years. 20 years, the Leafs have won 2 series. The Oilers won 2 in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. So anyone who's still in Biz has won more than the Leafs in the last.
Why the fuck was Justin Bieber sitting behind the bench like that?
What was his wearing? I said, what? I go, why is he not in a box? And then my wife's like, he's a jock sniffer. He probably wants to be close to the action. I said, you can't even see anything.
Like, I would have rather had Oldie in those seats. I would have rather had Oldie in those seats so they could have at least maybe put him on for a shift or 2.
Yeah, but honestly, why? Like, everyone who knows hockey, that's the worst seat in the entire building.
Worst seat in the house.
Why would you sit in the
I don't know. I don't
Unless
know.
You have
between him and Drake, I mean, that's a curse right there. Drake put $1 million on the game. And then after the game, posted him in Bieber and said the Bieber curse. My God!
I got one more tweet I loved.
Only one? Are you kidding me?
No, I think there's a couple more, but this one I really liked. Luke Fox.
All right.
Most important game of an era. Simone Benoit and Bobby McMahon, a couple of guys who were never drafted, were tied for most shots by a Maple Leaf in Game 7 with 3.
Shout out to them.
Hey, Benny boy. He can come back.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's an unreal player.
I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, should we have some more laughs?
Talk about the start. Give me your thoughts on the first 10 minutes.
Shot attempts were 25-0.
Like, it's fucking Game 7 at home.
And they already got beat and shit kicked 6-1 the last time they were at home. So I'm thinking there's no possible way they come out and have a bad start, right? And it was so weird because it felt like every single shift they would just retreat to the middle of the ice, and then every time a Florida Panther touched it in the ozone, they'd have like 3 seconds to make a decision with it. They were so slow reacting. And from a game standpoint, you guys obviously know, but I'm trying to explain to the fans listening, like Florida was coming so aggressive down with their D, right? We call that a split forecheck. Like we used to do it with Dan Bilesma down in the American League, where like off the hop of games, like the first 8 to 10 minutes, it's like, hey, you get that F3 center support and the wings go and the D-men stay up and you got the support, but you're breathing down the winger's neck. Well, if you're a team who is seeing that right off the hop and is expecting it, and like I said, even if it happens in the first couple shifts and you were unaware they were coming in a split hard forecheck, which Florida comes hard, we know that, you put it off the glass a bunch and punt it and kind of back them off until things get settled in. Buddy, they were making such soft plays like up the boards and leading to turnovers and like easy pinches for the Florida D-man to just keep plays alive. Like it was crazy how bad it was and how embarrassing, how nobody was able to make a play. But not only that, even when they did turn the puck over, them playing D, compared to the game before, it looked like a different team. Like it didn't look like the same team. Like they went down there and in Sunrise and played an unbelievable game. They stayed above the puck.
Great. They played great.
I think you're muted, Whit. I think we got you muted or we lost you for a quick second there.
I heard him.
You back?
They played great in games.
Oh no, we lost you?
No, I hear you.
Or did we lose me? I can't hear Jans either.
I can hear you.
Is it me?
Hey, we played great in game 6. Thought we had game 7 coming. And then, like, I saw Maple Leaf Square and the fans were, like, pumped up. Did you see Oldie in my lucky shirt? I couldn't believe that, like, the lucky shirt didn't win. But this is our year.
What is Illuminati doing right now, Paul?
Oh, Illuminati.
No, you got to answer his biz.
I had 67 grapes left in my fruit bowl. That's a sign. This is the year. And next year, Yager might sign with us. He wears number 68. That's one more year. So I don't know.
Hey, I got another great one. This one is my favorite. Mike Bunt. I don't know who Mike Bunt is.
Bunting.
That's Bunting's. It's a short form for Michael Bunting. Used to be a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Bunt. The 2004-2005 NHL season was canceled due to the lockout. I don't know if you guys remember that. My first year pro. Since then, the Buffalo Sabres have 4 playoff series wins. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 2. The Sabres haven't made the playoffs in 14 years.
Oh my God.
I feel sick for Leafs fans. I swear to God. I actually, no joke, feel sick for them because Leafs fans are in my mentions and they're like, this is not fair. This is so not fair. It's like Ryder not playing in the third period. This isn't fair, Dad. I know, bud, but life isn't fair. And being a Leafs fan, it's got to be the worst feeling in the world. It's got to be something where you wake up every day and you think, today's a different day. Today's a different day. The weather's nice. We can't continue. No, nothing's different. Nothing's better. It'll always be the same. And because you were born in Ontario, maybe your dad was a Leafs fan, but you're from Edmonton, you just were cursed. you were ruined from the day you first bought your first jersey or hat or card or sticker. And then looking forward, I think you're really done. Poor Squanto. He was actually rooting for Florida by the end of the thing.
Yeah, of course he was. He's
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Specifically you, Jans. Were you a little nervous on what Oldie was able to go do down in Florida and then bringing it back to Toronto? Just like were you a little bit nervous that he was going to throw Bob off again?
Yeah, I was. I can't lie. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy you did that to me. That you would make my friend turn on me like that. I wasn't happy about it.
Can I tell the story how I think it came to be, the whole Oldie thing? So you went on PMT. I didn't listen to the hit. So I guess he listened to it, and on it you're like, oh yeah, Biz is gonna go watch it at some dive bar in Welland. I might have Oldie call him and like fake friend him and find out which bar he's going to and send it a bunch of Florida Panthers fans. So funny. So he heard that, and then he DM'd me being like, hey, what's up? And then when he did that, and I think he tried to call me via like Twitter. I didn't know you could do that in the Twitter DMs, like call me through it. And then I texted you and asked you for his number. So when I did that, I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Welland, and why don't you come down and end up watching the game with me? So he did, and like he was such positive vibes. I didn't know what to expect. I never met him. Like obviously he originally when I went on PMT and I said that they need to have a Canadian ambassador on the PMT live stream for the Four Nations, I said, or they had 4 people submit. You were the one who texted the whole group like, hey, I got to get this Oldie guy in there to represent Canada and hold his end of the bargain. And that's how it all obviously Oldie came to be. So when I brought him down there, that was the first time that I'd actually had interaction with him. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to give this guy my yellow shirt because Merles had messaged in the chat. You should send him down to Florida. So we did. Like that whole idea came up in like 24 hours. He's married with kids. He's like, sure, I'll get on a flight, goes down there, does what he does behind Bob. And here we are. So the fact that it all really started because of you almost cost your team.
I know. That's why I was pissed.
You almost fucking ruined the Florida Panthers with the Oldie trick.
But guess what? We got to play the Leafs, and we got to play the Leafs at home in a game 7. And you knew they weren't going to come through. You absolutely knew. That's what they lost game 6. I was with my friends. I'm like, this is actually even better because it makes it so much better when they win on the road. Dude, they were minus 145 dogs on the road. Game 7 against.
They were favorite. They were favored on the road.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry,
that's what he meant. Yeah.
And
it's so I'm like, it makes for a better storyline. You get a game 7. I'm like, I kind of hope it just goes to overtime. I hope they can make it a good game. Boom, 6-1 Irish Travelers ×2, baby.
I will say the craziest part about it all is the fact that they kind of turned it around in the second half of the first period. Like because Florida was coming so strong, Toronto was able to squeak a few by them. They had 2 breakaways and then a few other grade A's, like the Nylander chance, which Bob was unreal on. Hey, and Bob was money when he had to be money, especially with not getting any type of rubber in the first like 10 to 12 minutes. That ain't easy. Like all of a sudden your first fucking shot's a breakaway. So I felt like after that, I'm like, okay, the Leafs have settled in. They got the big stops early. Like they got their feet underneath them. And then they come out for the second period after it being tied 0-0 after killing off that big penalty at the end of the first. And they were even worse. That entire period, they looked like the first 10 minutes of the first. That's why when like, listen, I understand if like Ace is like, hey, wait till the end of the game to boo your team. Sure. I would have been in the same boat as him after the first 20, after they settled things down, if they would have booed him off the ice. But having started the first 10 to 12 minutes and then having a full 20 in the second period like that, if you're paying $5,000 for a lowerable seat at Scotiabank, bro, outside of throwing your jersey on the ice during play and hucking beers on the ice, boo all the fuck you want. Like that is an absolute joke. The fact that they came out and started the second period. Now, another thing, Rooney, is it Chris Rooney?
Yeah, dude. He
said
that
I thought he lost his eye.
Me too. That was scary.
So
thank God. Okay.
So if anything, I thought that would have killed that time off, would have killed Florida's juju and momentum. Like that was such a scary thing. It was like what, like probably like an 8 to 10 minute layover. They brought the stretcher out. Like I was worried from at that moment. You're kind of like, okay, fuck what's going on with the game. Like, did this guy just lose his eye? He was gushing blood. So shout out to all the refs and linesmen who, they're grinding through playoffs, man, more so than probably anyone. And they face all the scrutiny too. So Whit, I know that you know him. He's a Boston guy. Doesn't he live around like your neighborhood or something?
He's my neighbor. And when they showed the refs at the beginning, I was showing Ryder. I'm like, oh, that's Chris. He lives right over there. And then that happened. Ryder was actually kind of, because all the blood, he's like, what happened to him? And I'm like, oh my God, did this guy fucking lose his eye? He sent me, I texted him and he just responded with a picture. His eye is completely swollen shut. Like I'm talking out to here. Thank God it was just right above, tons of stitches. But yeah. And Biz, quickly about the whole booing at the end of the second and the second. Two things. One, they turned it around. In the last 10 minutes, they were great. It was the McMahon breakaway. It was the Lawton breakaway. It was the Nylander save that somehow Bob caught in between his arm. And then the fans were cheering them getting off the ice. They were. The fans were awesome leaving the first.
Even after Florida had scored a couple goals in the second period, they started the goal Leafs go chants right after the puck drop. Like they tried to get them back in it a few times. And I'm like, fucking right. It's the yacht club. Hey, as much criticism as they show, as much blow as they're doing down below while they're mucking their sushi, they brought the fucking noise. So, nothing on them. But I think before we get to maybe what is going to happen in the future here with the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think we really need to shift the focus to the Florida Panthers and what they've built. The guys they brought in through, whether it was free agency, like guys like Nate Schmidt, whether it was guys through trade, like Brad Marchand, Leaf Killer, 5-0 now in game sevens against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
6 points in those 5 games.
6 points in those 5 games. Like, I believe that was his 13th game 7, like all time, which is like one of the highest of any player to ever play in the National Hockey League. So, like, not only did they have the pieces in place from like a core perspective, but all the moves that Bill Zito has made and staff, because like you got to credit all the scouts and all the research they done to put those right people in place, including like their fourth line. So Seth Jones, guys, like, are you kidding me?
Best player. He was the best player on the ice. Him and Marchand.
The 2 people they traded for right at the deadline and a little bit before were the best players on the ice for the Florida Panthers. So, Jans, you're the Florida insider. Let's start with you on who you want to give praise to, because I mean it's really every fucking guy in that lineup and what they brought, especially in games 5 and 7.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously Bob gets a lot of credit, but I think just from the 2, eggs he kind of laid first 2 games to come back in the way that he played was incredible. Like he never lost his cool about him. Even when he was giving up weak goals, he just still kind of stayed in the moment. Thought he was amazing. Obviously, a key opponent to that win. Even last night, the breakaway save, it was nothing at the time, or maybe 1-0, right? So huge saves. Then also Aaron Ekblad too, another guy, like he, obviously missed some time this year. I think he's up for contract this year. Like they have to re-sign him. He is so good, especially when you can have a 1-2 punch with him and Seth Jones like that. Just amazing. The third line, I was talking to, my wife and kids last night who don't know much about, what's going on. I'm like, this third line has been the best line in hockey, probably, like, or especially for the Panthers, but since playoffs started, which is an anomaly for playoff hockey. Usually it's your big boys carrying you, but they have been amazing. You can just tell what Marchie has brought to that group. And he said, I think it was when he was talking to you guys, but just the, how they've come together and gelled together. But that's 100% him, I think, because I know those 2 guys, they're quiet guys. They work hard, put their head down. But I guarantee you he's the guy in there kind of getting them together and just making them have the chemistry that they have had. And they're winning them games. What else? Who else is the fourth line?
Barkov. The Leafs have 4 guys who make more money than Barkov.
Yeah. Have you ever? He would never complain. The guy's just a horse, man. Like Barkey, I tell everybody every time I talk about him, he's the best player that anyone that has played with has ever played with. He's just all three zones, in the locker room, outside of the game, just brings it. He's a true dog. Like, he has that in him, like we were talking about with Chuck. He's not out there rah-rahing. He's just got the dog in him, where he's just shows up to work every day, puts his work boots on, and it's amazing to see. And, you know, Matthew Tkachuk, I don't think had his best series, or hasn't even had his best series so far this playoffs, but he is going to show up. And that's the best part about this team, is they don't need one or two guys carrying them. Like, next series, it's going to be Benny, it's going to be Matthew, it's going to be Rhino. Like, they're going to come in waves. So truly amazing series. I love the fact that what they did, being down 0-2, coming back home, playing in front of their own fans, no panic in their team. Just everything I saw, just zero panic. I don't know if it starts with Maurice and comes down through the captains, and, you know, but wherever it's coming from, it's truly amazing how they just keep it even keel, go out, do their job. And, you know, right now, the last few years, they're the standard of the league.
Standard.
How about all the people when Seth Jones was traded?
Oh,
I don't
idiots.
know. Like, this guy, he's not good anymore. Like,
Chicago
dude,
fans, morons.
You're judging a player on a bad team. Like, some guys, yeah, they're bad players on bad teams. This guy was on a horrible team, playing a ton of minutes. Obviously, he's going to look even worse. They never have the puck in the offensive zone. He's tied down in his own end all the time. He gets on Florida. I mean, first off, that shot, that was like a shot like a 50-60 goal scorer makes. It was right where the crossbar meets the post. Perfect shot on a 2-on-1 on a sick dish. I think it was Rodriguez who dished it to him.
Rodriguez was great.
Rodriguez was great. He came back in the lineup for Boquist. And then the way Seth Jones is just kind of controlling the play out there. I don't know how that wasn't a goal. The one they called back, like, I don't know. It wasn't a kick. Maybe
that was bullshit. That should have been a goal. That should have been a goal.
And then forget the goals, and then the one that wasn't allowed. The hockey IQ on him to push the puck ahead and not touch it.
Dude.
To let was it Greer? Who was coming back to get onside?
I think it was Gadjevich.
What a smart play in the moment, right? Like, it maybe sounds a little stupid, but like, no, all right, I gotta let him clear. I'll push it ahead. The same thing had happened, I believe, in was it Colorado Dallas series?
Yeah, McCarr.
Yes. So, I mean, you bring that guy in, and people are like, I don't know. And even I was like, if you're bringing him in, why didn't you re-sign Montour? Which I guess still is somewhat of a discussion. But after seeing Seth Jones play like that, and the interview after with Jackie Redmond, he was kind of just like, yeah, just being here and the way these guys approach everything, like, I just want to kind of do my job and just help out any way I can, because the way everything's approached and how there is no panic. He just went on and on about how special of a room it is. And obviously, I mean, they're probably going to go back to their third straight cup final. I mean, we'll talk about that series in a little bit with Jovo. I'm just amazed at them. They were down 3-1 in game 3 and they still weren't panicking. So,
yeah. Wait, have you ever seen, like, even them celebrating after the game, and like you just said about Jones' interview after, they're just like, okay, all right, on to the next. They're not like, they're not too
they
high.
Have a winner mindset.
They won 14-0, so it's like, good game, guys.
They didn't even celebrate by the end.
I know.
They had more friends and family still there than there were Leaf fans in the building. What do you mean? It felt like a preseason scrimmage, like black versus white game. So many more like the fourth line. Like, I thought like the fourth line for the Panthers would have been probably the most effective line for the Toronto Maple Leafs had they been a line on their fucking team. And the fact that they keep interchanging them as well, like that Nosek, incredible pickup. I love that Greer. I've talked about how I played against him in the American League, where in the American League, he was a first, second liner, played special teams. And like when there were scrums and shit, he'd be fucking barking the entire time, where you're like, okay, like if this guy like wants to even just alter his game where he was a bottom 6 guy, this guy would be unbelievable. Could play any way you want. And it's no surprise that he's found a nice home in Florida. as you guys already mentioned, we're going to be bringing on Ed Jovanovski. He works for the team. He does television there. Obviously, a longtime Panther, was drafted first overall. Probably knows more. He's forgotten more about hockey than I know. So I think we should probably bring him on now to continue to discuss the Florida Panthers. And then we can get back to talking about the Leafs. But Whit, I'll throw it over to you for a little house cleaning.
Yes. Sorry. Before we bring on Jovo, we got to talk body armor, boys. Body Armor. This episode is brought to you by the Body Armor sports drink. Body Armor has great tasted flavors. Right here, strawberry banana. This one, peach mango, orange mango. No artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners. I was lucky enough to be at Keith's sister Lauren's surprise 40th birthday party Saturday evening, and it was a great night. Saw so many awesome people. What?
Any butt plugs? Well, you said that there were butt plugs at my 40th party, so I just want to know if there were any at theirs.
I forgot I said that, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about right now? But the next morning, I needed Body Armor. Got me hydrated, didn't keep me hydrated, got me hydrated, got me through a Sunday at the rink. Body Armor's where it's at, in a new bold look with the same great taste. Get your Body Armor today at Walmart or a local grocery store near you. Body Armor, choose better. And now, let's bring in the man, Jovo Cop, Ed Jovanovski.
What's up, guys?
Florida Panthers.
Take the undershirt off, Eddie. Take the undershirt off.
Welcome to the content game, Ed Jovanovski. Let's go.
Yeah, and I figure can you guys hear me good?
Oh, we can hear you great.
I figured I wear my this is my buddy's boat, so I figured it's called Momentum. I figured it fits.
Never heard of it.
You'll never be on it either.
You haven't skipped a fucking beat, eh, Jovo? For everybody listening, I used to come on the plane and you'd be always well dressed, Jovo. I say, Jovo, that's a real nice sweater. What kind of sweater is that? And he'd look at me from the card table like, why is this peasant bothering me? Expensive. That's a Hey, Jovo. Jovo, you got change for a 20? That is change. Ed Jovo, you are fucking one of a kind, brother. One of a kind.
Hey, Biz, I tell you what, buddy. I love you. I love you.
Yeah,
you were in one, buddy.
I know.
Oh my God.
I was deep in the sauce.
Have you slept?
Not much, buddy. I turned it on for 4 weeks. I went hard in the paint for Leafs. And I wish the boys would have showed as much effort on the ice as I did on the internet for the last month, but but that wasn't the case. But we're not here to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're here to talk about this series, what you saw. Congrats on your post-career doing television with the Florida Panthers. Let's talk about this team, man. Like, this is a fucking well-oiled machine looking to repeat. Potential third trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. Where do you even begin with this squad?
Well, just before we came on, just listen to what you guys were talking about after the game. It's kind of like, hey, listen, we jumped one more hurdle, right? So now we're going to face Carolina, to celebrate. They've been there before. And I think just going into a game 7 like this, it was just clinical. I mean, I really, right from the drop of the puck, you can see, just the jam that the guys played with. And, when things did break down a couple times there, Bob was up for it. And then the second period just go on. And never mind that, third period, Toronto gets on the board with Domi's goal. And then immediately right after that, they kind of stopped that with Florida's fourth goal. So they're a deep team, as you guys were talking about, up and down the lineup. I love that you guys mentioned the fourth line on that group. Just the way Nosek, he hasn't been in the lineup. He's been healthy, kind of leading up to, and got back into the lineup and really kind of showing why they brought this guy in there. He's a big centerman, and Greer and Gadjevich. Is great to see these guys get on the board. They do all the little things, all the bumping and grinding down low. They're not an east-west line. They're a north-south line, and just right top to bottom, man, right now. I mean, the team, it's pretty good.
Jovo, after game 6 happens, kind of shocking, right? Like, wow, this team had the balls to go in there, shut out the Panthers. What was your thought going into Game 7? Like, were you very confident, or were you after Game 6 thinking, Jesus, like they might end up doing this?
Yeah, you like to close that one out at home, right? I mean, now you're going into a Game 7 and you run into a hot goaltender, a timely goal. Anything can happen. A lot of people ask me, "What do you think?" And you know what I'm going to say. I'm like, "We're good. We got this." But I think you draw on that experience, and which they did. And I think when you come into this situation, you have like a guy they brought in, like you guys were talking about, Brad Marchand. This is the 5th time he's beat the wheels off this Leaf team. I mean, it's unbelievable. So is there a message going out for Game 7? Hey guys, you know what? Whatever happens in this, we remain even keel, which has kind of been their motto. Up or down in a game, we saw it in Game 3, down 3-1. I mean, they found a way to come back and win. Yesterday, I don't think they wanted to chance anything. You can see right from the drop of the puck, this team was raring to go and really kind of sent that message early on. But I agree, Witz. I think you're going into a Game 7. You have to trust the guy next to you, trust the system, the game plan that was implemented by the coaches, and they executed it. And what it comes down to is execution, right? I mean, this team executed well, got on a little bit of a tear there, and just kind of didn't let up.
This is a question for kind of Jans and you, Jovo. Did you see, like, were they coming in a split? Like, was that just something that they were coming in off the hop with all like the pinching of the defenseman? And have you had a chance to talk with Paul Maurice and like get to know him at all? And like, I mean, he just seems like he can fire up the boys more than any coach you ever seen in your life. And they just respect him, and whatever he says, they're willing to do.
Yeah, I think so. He's been around a long time, and I think he knows kind of what buttons to press at the right time. But you hear him say, Jans, you can chime in here too. He trusts his group. So I think a lot of these things, he kind of leaves it up to his group. Going out there in the game, you're going to put the game plan in, right? After that, he can't go out there and fucking put the skates on and go play. I mean, the guy's got to do it. So I think having the experience that these guys have played in big moments, big games, played a lot of hockey of late, I think they can draw on that into these games. But they just trust in each other. I think when you look at this line, this team as it goes, it's a fucking red wave, man. I'm telling you. They just come after you, come after you, come after you. And you look at the anticipation of the D last night, that's kind of a double-edged sword. You see a couple times they kind of got, if you're going to get that aggressive, they can pick you apart. And they had a couple breakaways there that Bob came up to save. But overall, they were really aggressive, and I'm sure that was discussed. Hey, listen, let's try to keep as much alive we can in the offensive zone.
Jovo, I wanted to ask you, and as a former first overall pick to Florida, and Eki the same way, and he came into the league probably expecting to be more of an offensive guy and put up massive numbers, and I just love the way that he's transformed his game into being just a solid defenseman that can, shut down any line, but also can play good offensively and make good plays. Like it almost reminds me of you too, like the way you played. You played hard as shit. He plays hard, and it's just like I see similarities in both of you. And like I'm proud of him the way that he's done it, and you see that the same.
Yeah, it came. The old saying: you come in as a crusher, you turn into a rusher, and then eventually, like me, you're an usher, but I just think you look at a guy like Stevie Yzerman, right? Just how prolific scorer he was, point guy, and you can see him towards the end of his career, how solid defensively he was. That's kind of where I've seen Eki on the other side of things. Is he can run he can quarterback.
Jovo, do you want to answer that? Is that your phone?
Who the hell has a house?
No, I'm not my medical practice here. I actually can be a secretary.
That's Berube. He's like
one with those glasses.
Stop talking.
Get a boob job.
But I think his game with Forsling, they draw all those tough assignments, right? Playing 25, 26 minutes on your toes every shift because you're facing the best. And I think he's really accepted that role. And I talked to him, and he takes more pride. And I think I was the same way too. As you get latter part of your career, you know, the numbers are what they are, but I think you take more pride in being a plus player and playing on the defensive side of things, because, you know, at the end of the day, that wins you hockey games, it wins you championships. And I think he recognizes that, and he's done an unbelievable job. And I like where his game is right now. And I heard you talking before, Jens. You look at this team and you take a guy like Ekblad out of the lineup, they're just a different group. I say the same thing with Sam Bennett. You know, you take a spark plug like that out of your lineup, they're just a different group because he adds so much, not only in the scoring area, but just, you know, firing the group, the heart and soul of a group.
Yeah, even Eki, when I was skating with him, you know, and it was just me and him, and I know you, like, I would be like, hey, you want to do some like shooting drills, passing? Like, he's like, no, he's like, I want to do forecheck and stuff. Like, I want you to dump it in, be on my ass, and try to get the puck from me. And I'm like, who's working on breakouts when you're by yourself? You know, I thought he just wanted to snap it around, but like you said, he's really taken pride in, you know, what he's become as a player, and it's special to see.
Yeah, they've mastered that flipper.
It's great.
I'll tell you what, you flip it into the neutral zone and you kind of get into that foot race. And it's not only the Panthers that do it. You look around the league, I mean, a lot of these guys, it could, because the pressure is coming so quick, especially in the playoffs.
Fuck, I wish the Leafs would have done it more. You know? I said that about the start of the game, the first 10, 12 minutes. It's like they're trying to make these soft, slow plays to the winger. It's like, buddy, they're fucking, the defensemen are breathing down their neck. Punt it off the glass or send a floater into the air and back them off a little bit. I feel like that's something that Florida's done so successfully, and that's why they fucking win hockey games. It doesn't always have to be pretty tape to tape and the cleanest breakout you've ever seen. Did you not find that the Leafs could have like implemented that into their game a little bit to at least start off?
They would,
yeah, but you know, the biggest thing with this group is the forecheck. So they do come at you hard. And sometimes, yeah, you want to make that nice play to clean exits, come out of your zone. But, you know, sometimes you got to play it safe and get into that neutral zone and not give teams added offensive zone time. And that's where you see the Florida Panthers different in a lot of, you know, areas. They don't give teams extra opportunities when they don't need to. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a breakdown in the zone, and, you know, teams will have their way in that area. But for the most part, they're coming out of the zone and they're on the attack and they're coming up as a 5-man unit.
I was in talking about Marchand earlier. We didn't mention that interview he had done at some point in this series where he talked about, like, I came over here and like the shock of being traded and not only just being traded, but to a rival from the Bruins. And it just took him a while. Like, do you remember an instance in your career where it's kind of crazy being dealt, and then all of a sudden, like, after 15, 20 games, you're finally like, all right, I feel at peace here. I feel normal. And that pretty much to me explains like what he was able to do in this series.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for him. I mean, obviously I've spent 3.5 years before I got dealt to Vancouver, so a little bit different. I think the history with Marchie in Boston and coming to this situation, maybe a little bit slow to start with on him. But I tell you what, when this playoff started, I mean, it was a new player. Like last night, it was unbelievable. This guy was winning every 50-50 puck battle. He was pickpocketing players. He was great on his edges and creating things, the low to high plays. And I think for that, you can see him having so much fun here, and just another opportunity for him, you know, to win the situation here. And it's been an unbelievable fit.
I feel like he's the most talked about on that line, but Luosterainen and Lundell, like, these guys are not household names. Like, for those of the people watching, Jovo, like, describe their play and how much they mean to the group as well. Paul Maurice, I think he was asked after the game, he's like, how many more years does Luosterainen have? And they said 3. They said, he's like, damn, like, that's good for us. And probably had a hell of a bargoon too.
Right. Well, I think the one word that you're going to, you know, when you talk about these two guys is responsible. And I think that's probably the toughest thing. And it's coming out of the coach's mouth. Toughest thing to teach these young players coming in is develop on the other side of the puck. And I think that's what exactly the Florida Panthers did with these two guys. And they're so responsible. They're put out in key situations. They kill penalties. Lundell play both sides of things. But Lucy's sneaky big. You know, he's a tall boy. He protects you watch him along the boards. And that's kind of moving forward to the Carolina series. They're kind of similar in that fashion where a lot of board battles. And I think that's going to be a good matchup in that way. But these two guys have learned, you know, probably quite a bit from Archie playing with him. But I know he enjoys playing with them because they have the speed, they got the size, and they work well together in small areas.
Jovo, those guys have been they've been following around Barkey since he got there too.
Right.
Like those guys, they're learning from Sasha Barkov, who is, you know, responsible both ends of the ice. I can only imagine what they're learning in a 2, 3, 4 year, you know, it's a crash course on how to be an NHL, you know, Selke Award winner. And they're doing it, they're listening, and now they get to play with another legend like Marchand. It's surprised there's even any water in that thing, Biz.
It's not. It's bleach.
You're right, man. You're right, and that's not you're not the first guy that I ever heard say that. And I think, you know, we touch on it a lot that come from the coach. I think anytime you see, you know, a guy like Barkov, just the amount of time first on the ice working on whatever he's working on, he's so good at everything. I don't know if you can get better at anything, but you know, for Barkov, just putting the time in and how responsible he is, you know, in the 200-foot game. And you kind of watch these two guys, and you know, there's a lot of similarities between, you know, them, but they learn from him, and it's just a treat to watch each and every night, especially Barkov, because he's a star in the league, but he doesn't get that recognition that I think he should league wide, and
he does awesome with the players, which is kind of all you want.
Yeah,
he makes everyone better, and that's kind of testament to his game.
Yeah, like a guy like Evan Rodriguez, and no disrespect to him, I mean, you could put anybody on Barkov's line, they're going to have success. That's what I want to ask.
Because you'd get 30 playing with him.
That's what I'm saying. I could have made a lot of money playing with Sasha. Yeah, shots. Evan Rodriguez and Nate Schmidt, like kind of two guys who maybe don't get talked about, like pretty much because they have such a good lineup, but I felt like they're so good at getting these pickups. Like the year prior, they get Oliver Ekman-Larsson on a cheap number, and he ends up having a huge playoff for him. Nate Schmidt, I believe he's got 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points so far in these playoffs. He's been a huge number 5, 6 guy. And then Evan Rodriguez, who got hurt, he gets thrown back in. As Whit mentioned, he makes a huge play on that first goal from Seth Jones. So like, just talk about what these guys, like the guys that definitely don't get talked about enough, do for the lineup.
Well, you look at what Schmidt did in the first round, you know, with the scored 3 goals versus Tampa. So he brings the offense. He's got experience, and I think that's what you're looking at. You're going to lose. You're not going to replace them on tour. You know, you get guys that come into the lineup and you want to find their way. And I think the system that the Panthers play, that these guys can come in and fit in seamlessly and do a good job. Same thing with like Erod. I mean, he's been here for a couple of years, but he's played with McKinnon. He's played with Sid. You know, so he's kind of played up and down the lineup. We call him that Swiss Army knife. You can put him on the 4th line winger. You can put him in the top line. He can play with anyone. And I think that just goes back to the responsibility of a player, that you can trust him when he goes out there. And you can see him yesterday. I mean, his biggest asset is his speed. He drives the play low. He likes to turn up play. And now he's kind of finding, you know, what's coming in late. But this Bill Zito, man, I tell you, man, he brings these guys in, and he's got to work within that cap, because we all know how this game works, where you got to take care of certain guys. That's just the way it is. And you bring these guys in here that sign these deals that you end up losing them again because they're going to get paid somewhere else. And I think the Panthers are okay with that and happy about that these guys can move on and make some more money and move on. But they experience something here, and you have an opportunity to win each and every year. And it's not a bad place to live.
And when you create a culture like that too, I feel like everybody's willing to take a million less a year. Like a guy like Reinhart, like he could have got way more in free agency. You know, they got Marchand, who's going to hit free agency. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he signs for less than what the Bruins offered him, just because he loves the environment and wants to win hockey games, right? That's
they created something really special. And it's taken some time, and I think they've done it the right way. They developed these players, and bring in pieces that, you know, they're going to kind of complete this whole thing. But the practice facility, Jens, you know, I mean, state of the art. All the players kind of live in that area. They're taking their golf carts or whatever. They're just close. They're a close-knit group, and they've created this culture here in this organization where it's a place that, hey, listen, when free agency comes up, you know, the Panthers are at the top of the list of players wanting to come here.
Looking forward to the conference finals. We get the rematch from 2 years ago where it was a sweep, unless you're Rod Brindamore. He said it wasn't a sweep, but they were very close games. One of the longest games ever played. Both teams forecheck so well. I mean, I look though at like Jarvis Aho, Jackson Blake, Roslovich. You know, it is a smaller team. So do you just think the Cats are just going to look at this like we have to just run them over nonstop, chip it in? Even though that's what Carolina wants to do, you think Florida's like, we have to just use our physicality over these guys?
Well, I think it's a staple of their game, and I think the Panthers are all about getting the puck in deep and creating that forecheck and being physical. It's not putting guys through the boards, but I think when you look at that Toronto, going back to the Leafs here, I think they wore them out. I mean, come game 7, I mean, it was just a hard battle. I mean, it was a grinding series. And I think you might not see the dividends here after game 2, but if the series does go along the physical part, I think the edge goes to the Panthers. Where I think, you know, Carolina, they got a nice back end. I mean, Slavin, this guy is a beast. And Burns been around forever. Orlov, Walker, these guys, I think they're a solid team. They don't do anything. I don't think they do anything fancy. Like we said earlier, I think they're just straightforward group that just plays the way their coach played. You know, just hard, never give up, stingy defensively. It's going to be a tight series.
They're going to have fucking Bennett the Menace all over Slavin like they did a few years ago. Remember that hit? You remember that? He made him a board advertisement.
He hit him at the goal line. At the goal line, and he actually his back hit the boards.
Yeah, he was where Oldie was during warm-up. He was where Oldie was during warm-up. He was behind the glass.
Right, it was crazy.
Did you see that Oldie guy in Sunrise?
I didn't see him. I saw him all over social media.
Okay.
Kind of getting tired of him, but it was good.
That's Jans. That was the best man at Jans' wedding.
What?
That was the best man at his wedding.
No. Another stat here we kind of forgot to mention, Biz, about game 7. It was through 2 periods. The Panthers had 75 shot attempts against the Leafs, which was the most any team in the NHL had this year, regular season and playoffs.
Wow.
2 periods. Just another reminder that was
the
game
Leafs
7
do.
of the second round.
We make history.
Yeah, your year.
Well, that's where was worrisome early on in the game. You had the Panthers with all these chances, you know, but Toronto was still kind of getting those, you know, the sticks in there, the blocks. So you wonder where this game was going to go at a certain point. You know, does it look differently if Toronto gets that first goal? But, you know, Florida, you know, had the pressure on, but Toronto did a pretty good job early on in that first period of deflecting a lot of shots or blocking a lot of shots.
All right, Jovo. Whit, you want to tee him up for the last question brought to you by Roback?
Do we have that ad?
I mean, I don't know. You're the fucking bus driver. Do you want to do it, Jovo?
Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. I'm looking up stats on the Leafs. I apologize. Last question presented by Roback. Use the code Chiclets on roback.com for a generous 20% off your first purchase through the end of the week. That's CHICLETS on RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with code Chiclets. Jovo, what are you doing if you're running the Toronto Maple Leafs? What is your approach on who you're keeping, who you're letting go? How are you going to try to fix a broken organization?
Oh man. Well, I think there's no question. I mean, listen, Marner's going to go. There's no question on that. I think what happened or what didn't happen at the trade deadline with his name floating around and this and that, and it's going to take a lot of money to sign him. You have to make changes to that group. They're all elite players. Don't get me wrong. They're all elite players. And I think that Matthews and Marner, the shit that these guys take from that media, you know, it's just like a guy's got 100-point guys. I mean, it takes more than two guys, you know, to get the job done. You look at the Florida Panthers roster, this is a well-built team. And it takes everybody. It's not just two guys. It can't be Barkov and Chucky getting it done. So I think out of that page, you got to look at, hey, listen, we bring in other guys that we have a more balanced lineup and that is playoff kind of tested, and know you got to win these tough games. You can't rely on one or two guys. So you look at the guys that are UFAs, Tavares, who had an unbelievable year. You know, you have Marner. Those are the kind of two easiest where you can start from what your decision is going to be there. But you got to get some sandpaper, maybe a little bit more in there. I like what they did on their back end. I thought Tanev was a great pickup. He played hard. You know, you're going to get out of him each and every night. But I think Tree's got some work to do this summer. Smart guy, him and Donor will figure it out.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Joe, you're a legend, dude.
Thank you so much, buddy. We will we'll talk to you throughout the conference finals, dude.
If you guys advance, Jovo, we'd love to get you in person if we're in Florida for the finals. I'll be there for sure. I'm sure the boys will join.
Yep.
I know Merles will be at the elbow room, so we can fucking do it there.
Yeah, buddy, absolutely. Anytime.
We love you, buddy.
See you, Jovo. Keith, apparently I'm being told you have a special guest.
Yeah, so I reached out to my my agents who represent a bunch of, you know, singers and stuff like that. So we got Justin Bieber coming on here to have a couple words with Bizzy Boy. Oh no, wait, it's Matthew Tkachuk. It's Matthew Tkachuk.
What up, boys? What up?
Take your hat off when he's in the room, Biz. Thank you.
Show some
What's going
goddamn
on,
respect,
boys?
Biz. Show some
Here,
respect.
1 sec.
He's leaving. Last time he grilled you before the series, and now
I
he's
know.
like,
I think that's what hurt them a little bit. I don't know what hurt them more before that, him asking the question. Oh man.
all right,
Yeah, I don't know
Matthew.
what the turning point was. Those questions before the series or Yans on the drum. Yans was pretty dynamite there. I think that's what changed it around for us.
Hitting the Biz Idiot t-shirt. It was classic, but bunch of questions for you. I know you don't have a ton of time, but let's go through what was said after game 2 or prior to game 3. Like, you go into Toronto, doesn't go your way. Didn't look like the Florida team everyone's seen for 3 years. What was said within the room and from Coach Maurice?
Yeah, I don't really know what happened in the first. I think it was just like the start of game 1. We struggled. We came out. We played a really good Tampa team. And I don't know if we came out and thought it was going to be like easier. I don't know what it was. We just didn't play well in the first period there of game 1. But then we got to our game, and I felt like that they couldn't really play with us once we got like all 4 lines and all 60 going. Like we played really well, like in waves throughout the rest of the series. So we kind of got to that in game 2. Still lost, but like, you're gonna lose in playoffs even when you play well. Like, there's no team that's gonna be able to just stomp through everybody. So I thought those 2 games at home, obviously Yan's leading the charge. And I don't even remember what game that was. But no, going back home, like we knew that the series was still on, even though we were down 2-0. And I thought that we took care of home ice just like they did. And when you make it 2-2 and you're coming back for game 5, like, we know that the pressure, we kind of use that, the pressure like that they're feeling up here in Toronto, almost against them in a way. Like, you know that they could not afford to lose that game, and they could not afford to lose that series after being up 2-0. So we kind of like use that as like a rallying point against them. And I thought our two best games were game 5 and 7, obviously. So it just speaks to, the way we were able to come from being down and out into making it a series and then ultimately taking over. Sometimes it takes to game 7, but that's why it's first to 4, not first to 2, not first to 3. So that's what makes playoffs so great.
Do you want me to go with?
Oh, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Before you start,
just apologize.
Apologize to the man.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
I get it. It's playoffs. I know I said it before, but
I was trying to get in your head. I think I got my own in the meantime. I want to ask
he was
you,
playing.
Were you guys? Well, I kind of did. You guys know Oldie or see Oldie in Game 6? Like, you gotta tell me that was kind of funny.
I did not know, but I did see on like Twitter and Instagram last night after the game wearing some brutal shirt. And
that's my
that's
lucky
all
shirt.
I saw.
I got a BJ at a bachelor party in that shirt. Were you surprised like how they played in game 5 and 7? Like, were you like surprised they laid that big of an egg?
No, I mean, I think that we played well. Like, it's not all, sometimes you feel bad for them because like they have some unbelievable players and a great team. And I was actually saying this last night to some of the guys, like if their team was not in like Toronto dealing with all like the crazy circus stuff outside of it, like they'd be like an unbelievable team and like such a hard team to play. Like they just have so much to deal with, and I feel bad. I mean, we don't have to deal with that in Florida, and I feel like that's what makes me and my team so lucky. But like you almost use that against them, like the pressure that these guys have to deal with day in and day out. And I wasn't surprised with how they played. Like they had stretches in those games where they played really well. I mean, look at last night. Like they were that second half of the first period, like they were unreal. And Bob had to come up huge for us. So they definitely didn't lay an egg at all. Like they played us well. They took us to game 7, and
I think that that's very.
This is almost even more slap.
I know that's what I'm
Get
saying.
the
Like
belt
he
back out.
brings you out to dinner. He's got flowers. He's opening your door. He brings you home by 10 o'clock. Like, Jesus Christ, what the hell's going on?
like
here?
like they play well. So did we. Like we we give them a lot of credit. They made it a hard series for us, and ultimately, I think coming down to game 7, there's a lot of pressure being the home team, especially in Toronto. And we came out with a great start and kind of took the crowd out of it early. So
I just wanted to say, by asking you that, I was not trying to discredit you guys at all. I just felt like, yeah, they showed up in the second half of that first period. I just thought from a full 60-minute perspective, I would have expected a little bit more after the fact that they got Irish Traveler in game 5, and I wasn't expecting it in game 7. like
No, I mean, I guess. I don't know. Like it's crazy too because they played us so hard in game 6, and like they didn't give us much. Like there was nothing in that game 6, like both ways, and I think going into game 7, we felt as a team like playing on the road, like let's do to them what they just did to us. Like that was such a suffocating type of game. Like there was nothing out there both ways. So no, good series, and it's nice to beat them. Obviously, it's nice to keep going. And yeah, just about to hop on a bus to the plane to go to Raleigh right now. It's crazy. We're playing again tomorrow, but I guess that's what happens when you go 7.
Buddy, the fact that you came on pre-series and then to button everything up afterward, like this is just a pure masterclass of stuffing me in a fucking locker. So congrats to you and the boys, and I appreciate you playing along with all the clownery before the series and really during. Whit, I'll throw it over to you. I know you wanted to ask one.
No, I know this guy has to go. So congratulations. Incredible series. I was going to ask, like, does that game last night, because you're saying, yeah, you guys played great, no doubt. So maybe it's not fair to just dog the Leafs. Is that like with game 7 last year against the Oilers, the most well-rounded game you can remember playing on the Panthers as a team? Because there was just nothing for the Leafs, similar to almost nothing for the Oilers in game 7 last year.
Yeah, I think last night was probably the best one. Like we played really
Yeah.
good from the start. Like every line's first shift, like the first four, like the first rotation, like it was pretty much domination those first few shifts, and like just like getting the confidence level that we can do that in that type of a game, like on the road, like just settles everything down and kind of set up. I know they had a really good push in the second half of that first period, but it just sets up our game and knows that we can roll them over. And it takes one thing I love about our team we've talked about is like it takes everybody. Like it could be anybody on each night, and it could be somebody different on different nights. And I just think we're super lucky to have the depth that we have.
I just want to ask one quick last one. The two guys who probably made the biggest impact last night, Seth Jones, Brad Marchand. In order to repeat, you have to bring in new blood that's going to rejuvenate a lineup. Like, how much do those two pieces mean to that team, and specifically Brad Marchand with the Game 7 numbers and being the Leaf killer that he is? Like, what has it been like getting to know these guys and be teammates with these guys?
Yeah, they've been unreal. I mean, Marshy first, like, coming in, we've had some crazy series with them in the past and the rivalry, and he just fit in so perfectly when he came. It's like we've been playing together forever. And he brings like that confidence and that swagger that we've had before. It just adds right to it. He's like this team's perfect for him. Like it's like a perfect match. So we're so excited to have him. I mean, he's been unreal. Like he's so strong on the puck. Their line's been just incredible. And Jonesy, like, was he not like the best defenseman in the world last night? Like he was just a man out there, just like fooling around almost. Like he was incredible.
Chicago fans thought they fleeced you guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but he was pretty good.
Flip it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my dinner. I mean, I had to get hurt so we could get him. That's crazy. So
I say that he owes you a fucking Rolex for getting him out of that situation.
I had to grind for months, and so yeah, he owes me something. But no, he's been absolutely unreal and like amazing guy. I've known him like a little bit before. And another guy that just fits right into what we have down here. And I'm so happy that, we have him for 5. He's got the same like years left on his contract as I do. And I just can't wait to continue to grow with him. But I don't know, like he might have been the best player in the world last night. Like he was incredible.
Yeah. Last quick question.
Yeah.
How come you guys didn't pack to go right to Carolina? Like, cause you came, are you in Florida, you said?
No, we're still in Toronto right now. I mean,
okay,
yeah, we packed for 3 games. We packed for 3 games. So
you knew.
I wouldn't say we knew, but we were planning on it.
Chucky, I was just going to say, buddy, like, not only thanks for coming on and having fun with the pod before the round started, after the round to stuff me in a locker, but like everything you do for the game, buddy, like the 4 Nation stuff, like it's hard enough like doing what you do on the ice, but doing it off the ice in order to promote the game, like you make it easy for us, buddy. And I'll make you this promise, even if you play the Leafs in the future, I will praise you guys. I won't act the way I did this round.
Write this down.
Yeah, bro, let's write this down, boys. No, Biz, I appreciate it. It's nice to see the old. It makes it fun, the games when there's people that are pretty intense into it. But yeah, no, it's looking forward to getting maybe a little bit more of your support this round. Then
you'll have that.
Awesome, boys. Appreciate
to war tomorrow night, buddy. See you later.
What an appearance tomorrow. Hey, everybody in the chat, including round of applause for Matthew Tkachuk, for Christ's sake, man.
I'll tell you one thing for free. If I was him, I wouldn't have came back on. If
no. Although to crush his soul and belt to ass him, I think it's actually like belt to ass, Biz, belt to ass.
Ow!
It was just standard.
He's into that though, so this is what he likes.
Yeah, exactly. Biz is like rock hard right now after belting his own ass, so that's not what we wanted to see. You know what though, him saying that, like I didn't even really think of the fact that they're hopping on a plane and tomorrow morning they're gonna pregame skate and just start another one, like the Stanley Cup playoffs and going 7 creates that one day off, and then you're back on the road in the toughest place to play in the Eastern Conference because the Terror Dome's in Edmonton. But what an amazing run by this team. I mean, we said it with Jovo. It's now just been 3 straight years of them just taking city souls, Biz. That's what the Florida Panthers do.
Playoff hockey is legit Guantanamo Bay. Now that you think about it, it's just over and over torture on your body. Biz, I love the fact that you said that about him. And he is such a good ambassador for the game. Someone that we need so much, that the league needs it, wants it, and just a great family too. Like, amazing. I'm glad you said that. That was awesome.
No, I mean, I imagine the Leafs would have took down Brady and Matthew, what could have been, but
here we go.
The older brother finishes off the dirty work.
Yeah, you want
and Brady's right behind him. Brady's right behind him, man. He's building that culture. Before we get to Carolina, Florida, just like talking about the Leafs, I just wanted to chime in. I agree with what Matthew said. I agree with what Joe said. Like that core 4 is the most scrutinized core group in the entire NHL. And it
don't blame the fans. Don't do it.
What do you mean? I'm not. Whoa. No, I'm not blaming the fans. I thought Matthew was very like nice in saying that, and how it can be hard, like dealing with all that media scrutiny. I do think that based on how, I think the attention's going to probably be more directed between Marner and Matthews. And when you have that type of price tag and type of money they're making, like, it's going to fall on you, especially with like the numbers that you listed off. Do you want to go through those quickly again? Games 5 through 7. And there's probably like other numbers, like including like all the games in the second round and maybe drop off in production there. And I think it's probably going to come out that Matthews is not playing at 100%, but it's also,
which I respected him saying after. I'm not talking about this right now. I respect that.
I think that he handles the media incredibly, like the way that he answers questions. And I think that Marner does too. I think that Marner's the most scrutinized of anyone out of that core 4, probably the most scrutinized in the entire NHL. I think that if you're trying to win a Stanley Cup, I probably couldn't fathom paying him based on what he brings in crunch time, probably more than $8 million. And it's nothing against him. Like, I understand that he's a highly intelligent offensive player. He makes unbelievable. He put up 100 points this year. Like, not many players do that in the NHL. He has a very, very special skill set that I don't know, based on his frame and what he's got inside driving him and the way that he plays, that transfers over to big game hockey. And like, that is just proven with the stats that you brought up, especially compared to what he's able to do in the regular season. And I was hard on him. I wasn't hard on him during the season. I was as supportive as I could have been. We got to this round, even last round, there was a few things I wasn't happy with as far as his play. This round, like in big moments, wearing a letter on your jersey, making that type of money. And Jovo made one comment. He's like, they definitely have to spread the money out and fill holes other places. And it's like, well, yeah, like, he's the one that commands him 11 million. He's the one who thinks he should command 11 million. He's the one who's probably going to hit free agency and command 13, 14. I think as a general manager, unless you're trying to like ignite a fan base and trying to maybe, sell more season tickets and get excitement around signing a big free agent, I think you're out of your fucking mind if you pay him 14 million based on how the hard cap system works in the National Hockey League. And I'm not trying to take away from what he's accomplished and what he's been through and the success that he's had playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You didn't show me anything when the chips were on the table. And I understand it's 20 guys that have to get the job done, but like, guys who command 11 to 14 million dollars, they will take over games. They will take over games 5-on-5. We see it from Nathan McKinnon. We see it from Draisaitl. We see it from McDavid. We see it from Makar. We see it from Rantanen. Like, give me any player who's making that much money, and majority of the time, they're taking over 5 on Kaprizov. Like, I don't give a fuck about your pirouettes or your behind the back passes, because you don't see a team. We just finished spending 45 minutes talking about Florida the way we talked about Florida. none of them are doing the behind the back bullshit. None of them are doing that flu nonsense. Like, if that's his personality and that's how he plays, that's fine. And he's going to go get his 13, 14 million. He ain't going to be doing it on the Leafs. He ain't going to be doing it on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And as far as Austin Matthews concerned, I think his game does transfer over more to playoff hockey. Yeah, he didn't come through being clutch with goal scoring. He didn't make the big plays enough throughout the course of that round against the Florida. He had the big goal last game, but they needed more on that, more of that based on what they're paying him. And, you know, I would tell Judd the same thing. It's like, how much can you feel like that this guy's 100% in when he's only signing 5-year deals at the highest possible price tag? It's like, well, we're going to try to get you the winger you need in order to have the success and lift the Stanley Cup, but you're commanding all the money. You think you should be paid the highest paid guy in the NHL. Like, Sasha Barkov doesn't care about being the highest paid guy. He signed an 8-year commitment to create a culture inside that locker room at a discount. That's what that's telling me. If you want to be paid that extra money because of what you have to deal with media-wise and all the other bullshit that Toronto has to offer, I can also understand that too. But with that money comes the scrutiny, and here we are. John Tavares said he wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. He's part of the core. I think it is a little bit weird if you only move on from Marner and you still basically have the same core outside of him. I don't know if that necessarily solves all your problem of maybe getting in new blood and changing things up. I think you build around Matthews and Nylander. If JT does want to come back, I would offer him a 3x3. And people say, oh, look at his regular. I don't give a flying fuck about your regular season numbers. I would say, JT, we put nearly $100 million in you and your family's pants, in your jeans, so to speak. Why are you laughing?
That'd be a lot of money there'd be big pockets.
A lot of cargo. A lot of cargo.
PFT.
Yeah.
200 million in Canada.
A lot of Jenko jeans in that household. It's like, do you really want to stay here and be part of the solution and help us use this money to go get other things that will take the pressure off your fucking ass? If not, and you want to gouge us and make a lot for a guy as old as you are because you had a good regular season, take your fucking talents elsewhere. We don't need it here. That's what I would say. And if we want to go back to the root of the problem, I know the league runs through Judd's cell phone, but out of those entry-level contracts, what he wanted and what Marner wanted, I would have said, fuck you. Stay at home. I ain't fucking giving you that much money. You haven't proved shit. And if he wants to call me after he hears that, I'd say the same fucking thing on the cell phone to him. That's it. Right? Am I crazy here? Am I crazy as a GM when they're restricted to just fucking hand over these no move clauses? Like, the fuck have you done in the league to deserve what you're? I want to see fucking championships in rounds 1 before I'm handing over leverage and giving you all the fucking control. That's it. Like that. It's about the crest on the front of that jersey. That's what it comes down to. That's all that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's all very well said. Matthews and Marner 0-6 in game 7s. Matthews has 3 assists. Marner has 2 assists. They've never scored in a game 7.
Well, they're 0-8 in winner take all elimination games. They're 0-7 in game 7s. And then they had a game. Yeah, upgrade that. And then they had the game 5 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And like I said, like, regardless of my comments about the money that they're making, I do believe that Matthews will eventually get it done in Toronto. I do. I believe in Matthews. I believe in Nylander. I believe in Marner. I believe at Marner saying, hey, man, here's 8x8. Go take your 14 with Dubas. Go to Utah. Go whoever is going to pay you that money. But keep in mind, if this is the same song and dance you see, because a lot of that cap, the hard cap, is being taken up by Mitch Marner. You can't be sitting here 6 years from now being surprised that your core, with him as part of it, didn't get it done. Like, I don't know how much is going to change stylistically from this kid's approach to how he plays playoff hockey. Like, I feel like at this point it's pretty ingrained as to what we're seeing. And if what we're seeing is I'm throwing over my assistant captain, a leader, and a guy who's making all the money over the boards when we're up 2-0 in a series, we're up 3-2 in a hockey game where we need a big, smart shift out of you, and you're going no look behind the back, 1-on-4 inside the offensive blue line, and then Mr. Selke nominee every year, who is the safety plug on the strong side, just fucking blow zone coverage and fucking not even look at the battle going on along the boards, which he created because he made it Benoit's issue inside the blue. I simply cannot reason with you. I can't reason with you because you know who gets nominated for Selke trophies? Sasha Barkov, the guy who took the 8-year discount, who's a Stanley Cup champion. You know who gets nominated for the Selke? Sam Reinhart, 50 goal scorer, one of the smartest players in the league, making fucking $9 million. There's a massive, massive difference. I don't want to fucking hear about state tax either. That's an organization that's built a culture with a commitment to winning, and guys are willing to take hometown discounts to stay and play there. And the fact that Marner won't, Matthews won't, or any of these guys won't take a hometown discount because of the outside noise and the media circus, use whatever excuse you want. Don't give a fuck.
The Marner story.
It's about the crest on the jersey.
100%. 100%. And the Marner story is like, it's such evidence and truth, like how cruel sports can be, because you think about, and I don't think a lot of fans give a flying fuck, and I don't blame them. When you're grinding out 75-hour work weeks and you're struggling and you're doing the best you can for your family, and you hear about like the struggle of guys that are making $11 million, I completely understand you saying shut the fuck up. As somebody who played in the NHL, though, I'll give at least my side of Marner. From what I've read and been told and heard, pretty much a prodigy growing up, right? And there's a 10-year-old Mitch Marner out there that if somebody told them you're going to go on to be drafted in the top 5 by your favorite team, your hometown team, you're going to go on to become one of the best offensive players the Maple Leafs have ever had. You're going to have 99-point seasons. You're going to have 100-point seasons. You're going to, in an interview, say we're pretty much gods in this city. Like everything you ever dreamt of, not everything, a lot of what you ever dreamt of came true. And it ended with you being booed every time you touched the puck in your last game as a Maple Leaf. And it's just wild to think like all the skill and all the ability and all the resources and everything that he has, and it still ended like that. And that's why I do think wherever he goes, I think you're going to see a different player, and not in the regular season, because the regular season, Mitch Marner, he is unbelievable. He is an incredible player. But at some point, and I think it's being on a different team in a different city and looking at how things ended here when the playoffs do begin, if he goes to a team who gets in and has a chance, he's going to say, like, it just doesn't work the way I was doing it. And maybe the pressure, and I understand, like, fans, you have a right to give pressure. You want a Stanley Cup. You're shelling out big dough for jerseys and tickets, but the pressure that he felt had to affect him in a way where he couldn't perform when the lights were at the brightest. But I think if he goes somewhere else and he's not the number one piece, right?
What do you mean he's not the number one piece, bro? He's going to be making $14 million.
Well,
he wasn't the main piece. Matthews,
the Lakers.
Nylander was. He had to be the third guy.
I know. You're right. You're right. The money he's
like,
going to get.
That's what I mean. It's like it's not like it's going to get. It's not like it's okay. I didn't bring it in crunch time. I didn't play up to what my value was when it mattered most for my team and my organization. I've shown that in the past. it's clear why they wanted to move on from you for Rantanen, because they would have got that for that value, if not cheaper. So there was never any onus of like, I want to prove it to the city and to the organization. I want to stay here. I've already made fucking $75-80 million. I'm going to take a hometown discount and make another 85. Like, like that's what I mean, bro. No, I'm going to go fucking bleed the market for 14 to go like, think I got to go be the guy somewhere else. By all means, prove me wrong. And from a fan perspective, thank you to everything he's brought into the organization. Like, I don't think success is necessarily just based on what you're able to accomplish come playoff time. Like, he was a model citizen. Like, he did work in the community. Like, he wasn't out fucking boozing and fucking getting DUI. Like, he was a good Maple Leaf. He was, you know, and none of this is personal, has to do with that. It's more about the like, oh, you want to be the highest paid guy, you want to get treated like a god, but like, bro, like I don't know, maybe lay out and block a shot. Maybe when you blow zone coverage in that game 3 there, when you make that brain fart, maybe put a little bit of effort into the back check. Like, the video's the fucking video. Like, those are the moments that I'm going to remember, because those were the important moments. The moments as to why we paid you the $11 million, because we thought you were going to show up there. So I know I've been long-winded, but it's kind, you know, we're talking about a team here who won the Atlantic Division, who has had this core group where, I mean, when they first came on the scene, I think that a lot of people in the hockey world said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at one point if that core group all coming in at the same time would win a Stanley Cup. Maybe they didn't think that once they commanded the dollar value they were commanding, but I don't know. I guess we can move on, but I think that
we can move on.
Time to move on. All right.
Sorry. The hockey. I'll finish with the hockey news cover. 2018 hockey news cover. Plan the parade. It's not a question of if the Leafs will win a Stanley Cup, but how many. Turned out they didn't get to the conference finals.
And this isn't just, this is a conversation that really like any fan watching who's got a favorite team could have, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about your leadership group, what you're paying them, what you think they deserve, what they're bringing when it matters most for you. Like, it just so happens it's Toronto. So anyway,
I think there's 31 other teams that would love to have Mitch, and I hope he gets a bag this summer. Or he signed.
He will.
Yeah, but you say that. Would you want Florida to sign him for $14 million?
No, but they would never do that. I hope he signs in Florida.
That ain't the fucking question. I'm saying you're trying to like dunk on me for what I'm saying. I compliment him. I think what I'm saying is like you're sure that 31 other teams would love to have him and give him $14 million. It's like, well, would the team that would you do it with the team that you root for? If you were general manager, how much would you give him?
In Florida, I can't give him more than Barkey. What does Barkey make? 9, 8?
I think he makes $10 million.
Yeah, I'd give him what you said. I'd be 8 times 8 or 7 because it's a new team. 7 times 8 to come down here.
And I hope he gets paid too. But we're talking about a difference of probably $6 million in a hard cap league of what you actually think that he's worth. And give him 8 times 8. I would give him 8 times 8 till I'm blue in the face. But I ain't giving him fucking 13. If you want to put butts in the seats, sure.
Yeah.
You want to sell more Mammoth jerseys? Go ahead.
I think that moving on a little bit here, I think that based on just talking to Tkachuk and that battle of a series and playing tomorrow night, like, God, it's going to be hard for Florida to win that game 1, right? Like, they're going into Carolina. This Carolina team, they've only played 10 games. They've had plenty of rest. They have an amazing home ice advantage. I think this series is going to be pretty special. I know there's no way the Panthers can sweep them again. If that happens, I will be so disgusted with Carolina.
If it happens, I want 1-goal games, all 2-1 games, and then I want to see the Rod press conference. If it is a sweep, just a couple like that would be.
He just doesn't talk. He just puts his interview on like his phone from 2 years ago and just. shows it to the media.
And one Tkachuk OT winner in Carolina where he just goes out the exit door and fire up the jet.
Biz, or Keith, like, you think we're seeing 6-7 games here? I know who you're picking. I know how confident you are, but are you scared at all?
No, not scared.
No.
I think that the turnover, him saying that they're playing tomorrow was crazy to me. Like, I was just away for the weekend, and I did not play hockey. I didn't do anything physically exerting. So, and I'm tired, so I can't imagine that they're playing again tomorrow. But no, I don't think that they're I don't think they're too worried about it. Like Chucky said, like I think they're a team that not wants to, but I think that they're ready to play 7 games. They know that the way that they play, they beat teams down. And yeah, like you said, I think game 1's going to be tough, but it's also that thing like, hey, we just won, game 7 really, I mean, it wasn't that hard for them. It was almost like a kind of little pregame skate for game 1 of Carolina. So it's, I think they'll be fine, but it's just Bob too. You gotta count on your goalies on games like this where it's tough travel, tough scheduling. But yeah, I think they'll be fine.
So in looking at the lineups, I think the biggest thing for Florida when they're looking at Carolina is we have to shut down Svechnikov. Right, 8 goals. He obviously is maybe not their best offensive player, for sure their best goal scorer. I think Aho's overall their best offensive player. So if you look at shutting down Svechnikov, that right there could be enough for them to win the series. I don't know if it's possible the way he's playing, but I'm like looking at lines here, okay? So you take Svechnikov, Aho, and Seth Jarvis. That is an unbelievable first line. You take Barkov, Reinhart, and Rodriguez is playing on that line. All right, kind of evens out there. Would you guys agree with that?
Yep.
But then we go to Bennett, Tkachuk, and Verhaeghe. Now, Tkachuk is obviously like probably battling injury, but he's still Matthew Tkachuk. He's still going to be in the mix. Bennett is going to probably do something ridiculous at some point in the series, whether it's a big goal, an enormous hit, an elbow to the head. We don't know. And then Carolina's second line is Roslovic, Logan Stankoven, and Taylor Hall. Right there, I see a pretty big difference. That's in my mind. That's playoff hockey. That's what we've seen the past 3 years. Then you get to the third line. Now, Carolina's third line of Stahl and Martinuk and who else is on that line? It would be Carrier. That is a big time playoff third line. They're in your face. They're great defensively, but so is Lundell, Lucero, and Marchand, and they add way different offense. So we're going through the top 3 lines, and we can even out the first line. And then the second and third line, to me, it's not really that close. So that's why, I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I could see Florida winning in 5. I think they're going to win in 6. But even the defense, yeah, I'd say overall Carolina has a better defense. What's good about Carolina's defense in this series is they're strong, but they move the puck better than Toronto, right? Toronto's D were awesome. They were hard. They got pucks out. They were hard in front of the net, but I mean, that Walker can skate. Slavin can skate. This Nikishkin, right? We saw, I think it was just one game, but you could tell, all right, there's something there. I don't know if Chatfield is still injured or not. So the defense is better than what Florida just faced, but Florida's defense with Jones and Forsling and Ekblad, like that right there kind of evens out as well. And goaltending as good as Anderson's been, what goalie would you want in the league right now that's more than Bob? So I just look at how good Carolina is, but then Florida is just that much better. And I want a great series, but I just cannot see a way Carolina can beat this team. Maybe this could end up being one of my top 10 dumbest statements, which is an amazing list. If we could ever get it, people would puke. I just don't see them being able to compete with the Panthers.
Yeah, and I think too
Well, I was going to let Jans go.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Like the Panthers aren't power play merchants too. Like they're not like Washington. You knew they would have to score a bunch of power play goals to even have a chance to win that series. Florida's not like that. They can win games other ways. The way that they play, the way that they kill, like I said last podcast, they make other teams play their type of game. I don't think that they can do that to Florida. I don't think, they can predict what they're going to do either. I think Florida's going to throw different stuff at them and not play the way that they want them to play. So I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be hard, heavy, some nasty games. I think there's going to be, I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. Obviously, it's going to be a low scoring game. Goaltending is going to be a huge, huge asset in this, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it just looks like the Panthers are just that well-oiled machine that are looking to go to a dogfight and play 7 games and go in on the road and do it with, one game in between a game 7. It really seems that they just do not give a shit about what hand that they're dealt. They're ready and willing and able to go. And I agree with you, Whit. I think it's a 6-game series. Hopefully Florida can steal one on the road here in the first 2 and, just hope for the best game 1. But I think game 2 is kind of when the series starts for them.
Yeah, so I agree with you guys in a sense of they're essentially carbon copies of each other. With the goaltending, how good the back ends are, like how they play structurally, how they're down your throat. I would say that obviously advantage to Florida from a size perspective and in imposing the will and being able to get to the inside. I feel like in a series like this, like we saw the last time they played, the one-on-ones, the man-on-man in the D zone can sometimes bite you in the ass a little bit with like the pick plays. As you go farther into playoffs, like the pick plays are a little bit more allowed, right? Those little bits of interference where I felt like the last time they played, they did a good job of that and were doing a better job than other teams were able to do to get to the inside on Carolina, which things will change with Anderson's numbers once you get a lot more traffic. That and a little bit more contact. He's a fragile goalie. So with the amount that Florida gets to the net, I would not be shocked if Anderson gets bumped into a few times. You hope not to the extent that it happened in round 1 where he had to leave, because I don't think if Peter Tkachuk is in the net, this thing goes longer than 5 games. I do have Florida winning it in 6, although from an advantage standpoint, for all the hockey that Florida's played over the past 3 years, for the amount of physical play that they've played. Like, I know that they were the ones inflicting pain on Toronto and bumping their D constantly over and over and over, but it does take a little bit of wind out of your sails to inflict that as well. So going 7 with Toronto, how much will that impact the series moving forward with Carolina and Carolina having home ice? I don't think that Florida is scared to go play on the road. They're not. They in fact, they very much embrace it, as we just saw against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But them having to go from that series to fly to Carolina, humid temperatures, and then go into that bee's nest with a team who just got of both rounds kind of unscathed in a sense, that for me, for Florida, is an issue and advantage to Carolina. Both teams smothering penalty kills, but the other advantage for Florida is power play. Like, I saw Carolina's power play towards the end of that series against Washington was better. It was brutal at the start, but the way that Florida PKs, I think it'll be a harder time for Carolina to produce offense on the power play than it will be for Florida to produce on their power play going against Carolina's PK. Carolina's PK I think it's a higher percentage. It was first, if not second, in the league all season long. They have a good penalty kill, but I think Florida's going to figure it out. I think they went through some issues against the Leafs where they're going to start pulling the trigger a lot more, using the down play a little bit more, imposing that will that I talked about. That's where I see the advantages for both sides, and that's why I end up leaning towards Florida in 6. I could easily see this being done in 4 and 5 for Florida. But there is a snowball. There is a slight chance that Carolina, because of home ice and the rest factor, is able to pull this off in 7 games. So that's all I got to say. I'm picking Florida in 6.
G, I want you to come on here.
Yes.
You were on the Canes in 7. Tell us 3 how that's going to happen. Tell us how you're a new Canes fan. I mean, you're a Canes guy all of a sudden.
Oh,
Gargoyles.
What is your squad doing to win this series?
peppering them, just playing the Carolina Hurricanes game. They're not going to switch it up. I think that's something we've seen with the Hurricanes is they don't switch up their game. They play their game, shot volume, shot volume, shot volume. And Freddie Anderson, I said this last series, but like if Freddie Anderson can stay healthy, he's playing incredible hockey right now. That's the biggest if, though.
He is.
Can Freddie Anderson stay healthy? And if Freddie Anderson stays healthy, I think the Canes can do it in 6. And I know you say it's they're not afraid to go into Carolina and play, but it ain't about them. It's about what the Carolina Hurricanes can do in front of their home crowd. This ain't Toronto. They ain't playing in front of the Yacht Club. Carolina's gonna play better in front of their home crowd. Now, I understand Florida's probably not scared, but I think Carolina will play better hockey in front of their home crowd. And I think the Canes take this in 7.
Wow. Okay. Hey, and I'm catching wind that they want you to come in and maybe like ring the siren.
What?
Like, is that a thing?
We're having some conversations with the Canes. They actually just gave me a phone call about 20 minutes ago. I didn't answer. Obviously, we're on the show, but we're planning some things. I'd like to get down to a tailgate. I love a nice tailgate, a Thursday afternoon tailgate in Raleigh. That could be, that has Grinelli's name written all over it. I'll say that. So
I can't be a hypocrite here. I was the one twirling around a tube top Edmonton Oilers sweater at the Stanley Cup Finals when I'm a Leafs fan. So like it was more because I wanted to see McJesus lift the Stanley Cup, him and Draisaitl, and bring the cup back to Canada. Is it weird being a Boston Bruins fan ringing the siren for the Carolina Hurricanes?
He partied with the Blues after they won Game 7 against the Bruins.
I know, but when you get a chance to celebrate with the Stanley Cup, that's also a little bit different, especially for somebody who never played in the National Hockey League. But like, where do you think Bruins fans sit with you all of a sudden on national TV? And how do you think Carolina Hurricanes fans are going to react?
Well, I wrote a blog about this. So Carolina Hurricanes fans have been tweeting at me saying that they want me to come do this. So, and I think that they tweeted at the Hurricanes and that's why the Hurricanes reached out. As for the Bruins, I wrote a blog about this. The Bruins are always my number one. Bruins go head to head with the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope the Bruins fucking sweep them 10-0 every game. I'm a Boston Bruins fan till the day I die. But at the same time, the Greensboro Gargoyles, this is it. The day that was announced, I don't know what it is, but it was almost like you guys, like you grow up a fan, you grow up a Red Wings fan, but then you're drafted to the Pittsburgh Penguins. You almost instantly become a fan of them. That's kind of how it was with the Hurricanes, the Greensboro Gargoyles. This is something that I should never be an owner of an ECHL team. This is something that's like so crazy to me and so out of the realm. And the fact that I get to be a part of this and be a part of the Carolina Hurricanes franchise, I'm going to be a little bit of a fan of them. I have to be honest. And I'm always going to be a Bruins fan, Bruins till the day I die. But this is really cool. And I like
you should go change their D zone while you're at it. You're part owner. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Make adjustments.
Hey,
grab the Sharpie off Rod the Bod. Just be like, hey, buddy, put that fucking vein back in your forehead. I got this thing. I was gonna also what was I gonna ask you? Oh, I thought it would have and Jans, correct me if I'm wrong, thought it would be a good idea, considering he's such a hardcore Bruins fan, to bring in the Gargoyles mascot and also Petey Pablo to present Carolina fans with him ringing the siren. So it's kind of like 1 degree of separation, and you get the guy who sings North Carolina, come on and raise up, like their theme song. Imagine
he did it in the Devils too. The Devils series, Petey Pablo did it as well. He rang the siren, so maybe we bring him in again. If they won that game,
he's already done it. All right, he's already done it. So
are you worried? No chirps, small wristed guy.
Yes,
small wristed guy. That thing. It's kind of heavy, I think. Is there any worry that you wouldn't be able to?
Well, he could tape his wrists.
No, he's gritty, dude.
I will say this. I've been seeing a trainer 3 times a week at 6 a.m. for the past 6 months. I look great with my shirt off right now. I'll say that.
Show us. Let's prove it. Let's go. I mean, that's not that good.
Yeah,
that's that belly button.
I don't think the angle.
Great. That's great. Yup.
Not bad. Your arms.
Do one of these.
Your arms are way more defined.
Yeah,
I'll
dude,
give him
you
that.
look phenomenal.
Hey, I'll give you credit.
Phenomenal.
I would never do that. I would never do that. What you
Dude,
just
you
did,
look
bro. I
great.
can't chirp.
You look good.
You look way better than before. I'm not going to say you look great, but you look way.
I'm getting there though.
better
It's a
than
work in
before.
progress, baby.
Yes. This is wedding body training.
I'm like the Philadelphia Flyers hiring Rick Tocchet. There's a lot of issues, but we see what we're building here. We're making steps. We're making strides to become better.
That's a good. I like that comparison.
Gee, you look great with your shirt off, but if he does do that, Bell, remind me I'm going to the bank, taking a mortgage out on my house, and putting it every single dollar on the Panthers to win that game.
Whoa.
Remind me if he's doing it that day, if he's home.
That's a pretty good siren.
Yeah, noise guy.
That was a good siren.
I am going to the bank and putting every single dollar I have on the Florida Panthers.
Well, yeah, this is a bit of a conflict of interest for you because you're also part owner of the Carolina Hurricanes and you're a Florida Panthers ambassador. So
I'm not part owner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, technically. I mean, we're ECHL owners. They're affiliate of us. Like we
But
could
the
fucking
Panthers
walk
gave
in-
him the money. The Panthers gave him the money that
Exactly.
he used to become part owner of what you're now
wow.
calling the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's an inside job. Jesus Christ, this is crazy. So you don't view that there's a conflict of interest here, Keith? Maybe you have to forfeit your ownership in the Greensboro Gargoyles?
Well, the team hasn't started yet, so next year if they play each other,
It's a good
this
loophole.
year,
That's a good loophole.
It's a
That's a
great
good
loophole.
I have I got 3 more months or 4 more
But then
months
that
to
means
go
that
all
G's
in on the
technically not
Gargoyles.
part of the organization yet, therefore can't ring the siren.
No,
That's
he's a
his
middle
loophole,
schooler.
not mine. That's his loophole, not mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mine.
Well, I'm interested
right.
to see if that actually goes down, but we will be sending G down to a tailgate and hopefully we can set up like a Pink Whitney like RV or some
Can I bring
flip cup.
Oldie? Can we
Arm
bring
wrest-
Oldie?
Oldie's
think-
back at work.
But I think it would be a kind gesture to send him down there because he's so positive and you know, maybe he could hand out Pink Whitney shots and basically just work for the Chiclets crew to do some good deeds and get back in everybody's good graces after showing the world his pocket pussy for the last 72 hours. Like I think
He just texted me a Oldie custom jersey with Oldie 97 Carolina Hurricanes jersey on the back of it. So he might have
dude,
to
he's
come now.
Drake. I told you he's Drake. He just roots for whoever fucking wants him to. And you're telling me no, he grew up there. This guy's a jerk. Just kidding. I love you, Oldie.
The fact that we've gotten G's body and Oldie's pocket pussy on the past 2 shows is we might need to
great.
really. Yeah, he does. He does. For as you said, a middle schooler. We have a middle school producer that's getting ready for his wedding. But yeah, for what I'd seen from him, he does look a lot better. I think before, I don't know when Stauf's coming on, but we got to do a couple ads, and then I want to talk about Winnipeg and Dallas and Mark Scheifele. But
yeah,
before we get to that, we're gonna get to some ads here, and I don't know if you guys have heard of Aura frames, but they are unbelievable. From big events to the silly moments you capture every day. Doesn't it sometimes feel like all of your favorite photos are just stuck on your camera roll? It does for me. I'm like, I got all these great pictures. And then came along Aura frames. It finally was the time for an easy way to share and enjoy all those pictures with friends and family. That's where Aura comes in. The #1 digital photo frame by Wirecutter. That's Wirecutter said this is the #1 digital photo frame. Aura makes it effortless to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone, so your favorite memories are always within view. Plus, you can personalize and preload an Aura frame for a truly special, unforgettable gift. The easiest thing is the best part is how easy it is. You just plug it in and go. Everything's right there, right on the Aura frame. You pick. You can have them flipping any which way you want. You can have a role that you want to be played. But for a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $20 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code AURA20. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. So, Aura frames are incredible, guys. They're unbelievable. And also, game time. If you need to go to a game, if you want to witness your team in playoff action, does not matter the sport, Game Time's where it's at. The NHL playoffs have been incredible. We're on to the conference finals, and there's only one place to get hard-to-get playoff tickets. It's Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Killer last-minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat on the app, and their lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to puck drop, and you can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets. There's some great deals on Game 1 for Florida and Carolina. Check right now on Game Time. And what are you waiting for? Go buy your tickets right now to whatever you want to see using Game Time and get involved. So amazing, amazing way to go to your favorite team's games. And
wait, quickly, I just want to say to the over 12,000 people who are joining us live right now, thank you guys for all your support throughout these playoffs. It's been an awesome run. And I'm sure a lot of you have came by for the Leafs chatter and essentially the Leafs funeral. But we love you guys, and yeah, thank you so much for being here.
all right, well said. We appreciate everyone watching. And now, the man with one little video drop before Game 1 won the series for the Edmonton Oilers. Because when you're thinking about Vegas and you're thinking about their depth and their goaltending and their defense, you weren't thinking about Bob Stauffer walking onto the plane with Johnny Cash playing, slow motion, all the aura, all the excitement of a Bob Stauffer broadcast, a man who knows the Oilers better than anyone else out there. You could take a diehard Oilers fan and sit him in a room with Bob Stauffer, and Bob Stauffer's going to know more than him. He's going to know the ins and outs of the team and the PK and the forecheck and the power play and the line matchups. And I don't know why he hasn't been brought in yet. Give me Bob Stauffer. Yes, Bob. Yes, Bob. Bob, we're alive. Can you say it with me, Bob? Gary.
Are you talking about Bettman or are you talking about Lawless?
Oh, we're talking about Lawless today.
Oh man, tough series, close series. By the way, I got to do this. Biz, I feel for you. I really feel for Maple Leafs fans. That was hard to watch. Not an excuse, but they've been in a tough division. Could be 6 straight years that a Florida-based team ends up in the Stanley Cup final, but Game 5 and Game 7, those were painful. Those were ugly beats. Unfortunately, a reoccurring theme. Those, they have great fans there. They're passionate, and it got a little out of control last night. That happens. I feel for you, man. I know how much you wear it literally and figuratively, and that was difficult to watch in stretches.
I got 2 quick questions, or I guess statements. One of which, I think that after that video dropped of you going into Game 1 against Vegas, I think you could make more on OnlyFans than Karina Kampf at this point. You absolute stud. I don't know if it's anything you maybe considered exercising that, maybe in the off seasons when you're not on the payroll.
Consider exercising.
And from an outside perspective, you've watched Leon and Connor do what they've done, making the big bucks. Like, how do you view the Marner situation? Probably more so than the Matthews. And I understand the scrutiny that he's under and that they deal with making the big bucks. But if the big dogs for the Oilers showed up the same way that Mitch did, what do you think the reaction would be? And you being as emotionally connected to Edmonton as you are, the Oilers, like, how would you feel if Leon and Connor pulled one of those?
Well, you're right. When you're in our roles, you're not supposed to be emotionally connected, but you are, because you end up caring tremendously about, the people that are in your organization. I just want to establish, first of all, I am not going to take my shirt off right now for this segment. Okay. I just want to make sure we don't need to see a flabba launch like that. So, but it's interesting. You mentioned the core 4. So Matthews, 59 points in 68 playoff games. Marner, 63 and 70. Nylander, 58 and 67. Tavares, 31 and 51. Zach Hyman, since coming to Edmonton, has outscored all 4 of those guys in the playoffs. He's got 33 goals. He has 57 points. And in the playoffs, everybody has to hit and everybody has to block shots, right? Who's leading the league in hits right now? Zach Hyman. Right? Like, he just
And there's your illustration. So Hyman's, he's on that power play, but though he didn't spend a lot of time in round 2 on the Oilers power play. So he's outscoring all 4 of those guys. And by the way, the Oilers have the top 3 scoring players in the playoffs over the last 4 years. McDavid's got 134 points in 85 games. Leon's got 126 in 85. And Bouchard, for all the criticism he gets, and by the way, he was excellent against Vegas in round 2, 70 points in 64 games. He's the second highest scoring defenseman in NHL history of points per game. So Edmonton's guys have showed up, and I think therein lies the frustration for Leafs Nation, is just their core 4 guys haven't. Now, I will make the argument they played against real tough teams, like, the Bostons and then Tampa and Florida. Those are good. Like, you have to acknowledge who they were playing against, but it's just what happens in Game 7 that I'm sure drives everybody nuts. And I know this, the Oilers lost Game 7 2-1 to Florida last year, but they willed themselves back from 3-0 down, and Connor drove that with 4-point performances, in games 4 and 5 when they're down 3-0. And that's why nobody bets against Connor and Leon. Like Leon he played with a high ankle sprain in 22 against Calgary in the playoffs after he kind of got maybe a borderline slew foot against LA. He had 17 points in 5 games. He had at least 3 points in every game, and he's playing with a busted ankle. Like he's, I've joked with you guys before, pain threshold of a cadaver. So
what was his AVV at that time? I know he just signed the new deal. He's
8.5. It was 8.5, and he was, and Pete Chiarelli, he was the GM Paul at that time. He got ripped. Where's he going?
He's probably going.
He's going to go
puke. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's making 8.5. So that's even Bouchard this year is at 3.9 million, guys. So I think everybody out there that watches the games, you guys know this. Connor and Leon are going to show up, whether they're playing together or whether they're apart. And all you need to know about Leon is he was hurt in last year's playoffs. Okay. And he was asked 2 days after, what was the injury? He didn't want to discuss it. And I know, and the reason he didn't want to discuss it is because every player that was playing for Florida and every player that was playing with Edmonton was likely playing for everything, or was playing with something injury-wise. And it's just, he didn't, the guy's a gamer. He's just like, he didn't want to take any sort of, hey, I was playing with this, I was playing with that. He was disappointed. He'd be disappointed that maybe they didn't have a little bit more juice going in Game 7. And it was a one-bounce game, which when we talk about Dallas, we need to talk about the series last year and the matchup this year. But to answer your question, I think everybody that watches the games knows that Connor and Leon are going to drive it, and they're going to show up come crunch time. And they've been a major reason why the Oilers have had that playoff, a modicum of playoff success, and have now gone to the conference final 3 of the last 4 years.
I had to go take a couple deep breaths after you said 8.5 there. I nearly had a fucking stroke.
You puke. Stoff, we talked about the Oilers win over Vegas, I believe on Friday. So let's kind of move forward to this series. I think it's setting up to be an all-time classic. I know Dallas is a better hockey team right now than they were last year. I also believe somehow, some way, the Oilers are better than they were last year. How do the Oilers get this done? How does this series play out in your mind? Will they play Leon and Connor together to start? And what are you hearing on Mattias Ekholm, in which Knobloch mentioned not early in the series, but believes could be back as we move on in the conference finals here?
Well, first of all, you guys, that series last year could have gone either way. Dallas loses in Game 1, double overtime, and with David scoring the winner after getting the double minor to start the first overtime period. And then Dallas outshot Edmonton 34-10 in Game 6, right? And the Oilers won that game 2-1. Stuart Skinner, the best he's ever played, was in that series. He had a .922 save percentage. Ottinger was at .901. So it's a 6-game series. That's one bounce either way. These are two good teams. Dallas knows how to win. They've been in the conference final 3 years in a row. They got a coach, I think he's played in 5 or 6 conference finals in the last 7 seasons. Like, Peter DeBoer is a really good coach. They have a veteran squad, though not quite. Like, they don't have Pavelski and Suter. Those guys were there last year. They're really good in goal. They're not running great metrics. Like if you look at their now, they did play Colorado and they got absolutely, destroyed 5v5 in that series, but they came back when Colorado had them on the ropes. Dallas is going to be a tough out. There's no question. Well managed, amongst the best management teams in the league, experienced coaching staff, lots of really good veteran players. I do not expect Connor and Leon to start the series together. I think the way you guys saw Edmonton finish with Kapanen and put Colson with Leon, which again tells you a lot about Leon, and then Nugent Hopkins and Hyman with McDavid. I think those will be the Oilers' top two lines. And as for Ekholm, possibly game 5 or game 6. I don't think we're going to see him in the first 4 games of the series. And to be honest, with Stetcher coming in, and he's a little undersized, right shot guy. By the way, took a bad in practice 2 days ago. He had a puck, rip off his stick, and it got all of them in the nose and in the teeth. Like it was. I'm going to be interested. The team practices.
He's going to look like Chatfield.
Yeah, it's like I think there's a good chance I would think he might have to wear a bubble. It was that bad, but he is a committed player, and he's helped Darnell when they've been paired together, and it's eased the lefty righty alignment with him coming in because they're way more. Paul Coffey was way more comfortable playing Stetcher than he was playing Emerson at even strength. So their D's been good. And, was Stan Bowman the first manager? One of the first managers you guys had on Spittin Chiclets? I think he was.
Yeah, Pussy Crusher 6969. You remember that?
Yeah.
They're asking about his burner account.
I forgot about that.
I think Steph logged off.
Good thing you've grown up, Biz.
I was extremely critical of like the off-season moves, and I felt you guys got like slower, older, and smaller. Everything seems to be kind of panning out in the right direction. Mind you, Skinner and Arvidsson weren't playing towards the end of the last round, so maybe a bit of a miss in the fact that you don't have Holloway, considering you gave them each $3 million. But what do you make of all that?
Well, Arvidsson got 4 times 2. July. I mean, you look at the July 1st work, right? Like it's completely fair comment, Paul. Like they certainly looked through large stretches of the season like they were a smaller team. But now I'm going to circle the Stan's work because he went out and got Wallman and he took a swing on Klingberg. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised how well Klingberg's played in the playoffs.
It's incredible.
I did not shocked. Like I didn't think he'd be that good. Wallman's been playing through a little bit of an injury, but watching Toronto last night against Florida, the Leafs built a big, heavy, tough defense, but they struggled to transition the puck into the Florida forecheck, right? We all saw it. Well, Edmonton can move the puck. And what's helped them even more now is they got Wallman and Klingberg, and they got the puck up to their forwards, because obviously they got Bouchard who can do it, and Kulak who's playing 24 minutes a game. Nurse, has got a lot of athletic ability. And I think those 2 additions on the back end really, like Wallman, none of the big headline, trade buster guys out there, the Cervallis and the LeBruns and obviously the Elliots of the world, none of those guys had Wallman out there. And that the Oilers did give up will likely be a late first, but I could see Jake Wallman being in Edmonton for a number of years. So I think they upgraded their defense. They made the trade for Frederick, which they didn't really get to see a full impact with. And then Kane came back. And Paul, you mentioned that they were smaller and slower. Yeah, but then they got Kane and Frederick back basically for game 2 of the playoffs. And now they have a little bit different dimension with their forward group as well.
Stuff, you'll see. We saw Leon get put with Podkolzin. And it was basically to shut down Eichel, right? Kapanen comes in and Leon's completely fine with playing it sounds crazy, defensive role with 2 fourth liners. I imagine if that line is staying together, that's just on Rantanen. Now, Dallas has the last change in games 1 and 2, but I think if there's one guy you could think of you want playing against Mikko Rantanen right now, it would be Leon, and how well he skates and how big he is and protecting the puck way he does. So if that line's sticking together, that's for sure for the Hintz line, right?
We'll see, because they play 11-7, which gives them the chance to double shift Rantanen, right? And so it might be a lot more problematic. Now, Edmonton's played 11-7 at times as well. Knobloch really wants to have all the players involved. I gave you the numbers. When he first took over, he noticed 23 penalty killing forward groups in the first 13 games of that season. When he took over, he used all the bottom 6 guys, with the exception of Nugent Hopkins, and said, "This is your job. Your job is to kill." And their penalty killing was really good from the time that he took over last year. It hasn't been great in the playoffs this year, but even think of the overtime guys. He just rolled over 4 lines in overtime.
Yeah.
He never once played McDavid and Draisaitl in that overtime against Vegas. And then Kapanen became the 13th Oilers forward to score a goal in the playoffs with the overtime winner. So, again, I think they'll start with those lines that they finished with against Vegas, because Chris doesn't screw around with the success. And, man, it's been strange, right? Under Knobloch, 7-11 in games 1 through 3 as a coach of Edmonton in the playoffs.
Wow.
16-2 in games 4 through 7.
Wow. It's kind of like Skinner.
Yeah.
It gets better as the series goes on.
And maybe that's part. I just think he makes good in series adjustments, and I think the team elevates as the respective series go on over the last 2 years. I don't think there's any debate about it. They work their way into the series, and then they get going. And they've not been good coming off of breaks this year, guys. They had a slow start out of the gate this year. They had a bit of a hiccup out of Christmas. They had certainly a rough stretch after the Four Nations. I'll be intrigued to see how they start the series Wednesday in Dallas.
Stop. I wanted to ask you about Corey Perry. Just obviously we see what he's doing on the ice, but is he a guy in there that's kind of, because he won everywhere. Is he a guy in the locker room that Connor and Leon are leaning on, or is he just out there doing his job like he's done the last 20 years?
So I'm always a little bit, cautious answering questions about what happens in the room. Unlike the three of you, I lack the speed, talent, agility, coordination, toughness, and character to have played in the Western Hockey League, let alone the NHL. I've only used that line 643 times. But the sense I get is that when he speaks, they listen, right? Yeah. And he's just, the guy's gamesmanship and professionalism is off the charts. Like when there were a couple times that, he fought Frederick in Boston this year. He turned 40 2 days ago. The guy's 40. And every fan in oil country, hockey's supposed to be a meritocracy. The guy had 19 goals in 5 fights in the regular season. He's got 5 more goals in the playoffs. Everybody wants to see him re-signed at 40, even though he was never fast. He's not exactly the quickest guy through the neutral zone, but hash marks inoffensively, he's an elite player, and he has the up. I know for a fact, because of how effusive McDavid and Draisaitl are when they talk about him, how much respect they have for him. So it's an incredible story.
Yeah, I'm looking at this series, and I remember last year, the Oilers' penalty kill in this series won them, the Western Conference. And,
I think their penalty kill was 94% all of last year's playoffs, wasn't it?
Incredible. It was incredible.
It was incredible. But you even brought up that game 1 double overtime when they killed the McDavid 4-minute minor. What have you seen that's maybe struggled a little bit compared to last year in the PK? Because you look at, you got Hintz, you got Harley playing the way he's playing, you got Wyatt John. Their power play is deadly in Dallas with Rantanen too. So what has been struggling with Edmonton, and what can they do against this unit to do what they did last year against them?
I had to laugh post-game, guys, because Ottinger gave Harley a little bit of a shot for playing for Canada instead of the U.S. In the category, you're old, I did Thomas Harley's father, Brian Harley's games at the University of Alberta in 1988-89. So I was doing the play-by-play of the Bears. His dad was in medical school. He was a goalie. And he ended up and then I see him in Montreal at the Four Nations. And 2 hours before the game, his dad didn't know whether or not he was playing that night, that Saturday night game where we had the 3 fights in the 9 seconds. It was awesome. Anyways, there a couple things on the penalty kill. The Oilers' best penalty killing defenseman is not playing. That's Mattias Ekholm. He and Emerson were their top pairing. Ekholm 5-on-5 with Bouchard. Right now, Kulak's playing with Bouchard, but Ekholm, if he can, again, I think we're looking at game 5. He's a big difference on their penalty kill. I do think it's been better. They made a little bit of a switch. Walman started the first 3 or 4 games on the with a lot of penalty killing. They backed him off a bit, and Bouchard went on the PK. And Bouchard, like against Vegas, he was the best defenseman in that series, and he's hitting this at the right time because his contract is up. And over the last 2 full seasons, he's the 3rd highest scoring defenseman in the league. And then over the last 4 years in the playoffs, he is the highest scoring defenseman in the playoffs over the last 4 years. So Bouchard took on some more. Their penalty killing got better as a series. You take out the first 2 games against LA where they got lit up. Their penalty killings have been okay, but it still needs to improve. And Dallas has got a good power play. Dallas is at 30%. I think Dallas is 3rd in the playoffs in the power play. So that is with 100%. That's going to be an identifiable area that Edmonton's going to have to be really cognizant and focused on.
Do you think?
I also want. Oh, sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to go back a little bit to the Vegas. Like, do you think Vegas was more of a fraud squad, or you just think Edmonton played the game where they just made them look like they were a JB team?
Tell Merles they were more of a fraud squad than the Kings, please.
I don't think Vegas was a fraud squad. I don't think the Kings. Those teams finished ahead of Edmonton. There's a lot of really good teams, and the Oilers have some experience, and they can ride through some unsettling times. I am surprised Edmonton won the series in 5. I think Bruce Cassidy said it the best. Like McDavid and Draisaitl, I think one guy had 6, one guy had 5 points that series against Vegas, and the Oilers' power play was only at 9%. And he said, if you told me those 2 guys would be limited to 6 and 5 points and the PP would be at 9%, I would have told you we would have been the team that won the series in 5 games. I think what's underrated about Edmonton is that they have scoring depth. They have lots of contributors. They're not the fastest, most explosive team, though they did play fast. I mean, the game 4, you guys talked about it on the podcast. Like, they kicked the crap out of Vegas in game 4 in Edmonton. That was as impressive of an Oilers performance that I'd seen in a long time. Like, they just came out and everyone committed to hitting, and they got in on the forecheck, and they just ran right over the Golden Knights in game 4. So I don't think Vegas was, Keith, I think they were a pretty good team. You know what I mean? Like, there were some bounces that went against Edmonton 2 years ago. You got to have a lot go right for you. And the Oilers were very, really exasperated with how they lost that. That was a tough loss for them 2 years ago against Vegas. And I think Edmonton got a couple of those bounces against the Golden Knights this year.
This is a short answer question. Do you think we're more likely to see the 3rd string goalie for the Oilers in this series, or Skinner will get the net the entire time? What's more likely?
Oh, I think the plan is for Skinner to get the net all the way through, because I don't think the 3rd string goalie is Olivier Rodrigue. And the only way we're going to see him in the first maybe 4 games is if Skinner gets pulled. So I think for Oilers fans, they're hoping that Skinner goes the distance like he did last year against Dallas.
You think he got the reset and he's good to go?
Well, he had back-to-back
shutouts.
He had back-to-back shutouts. They played well in front of him. Like they had a real good structure and process. By the way, it's the battle of the 2 of the best man-on-man defense teams in the NHL between Florida and Carolina.
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, you're looking at me like I got 3 heads. Like, that couldn't fall off the rails in the first 2 games in this series. Like, I'm just asking as you go, like.
Oh, it's a fair question because of the inconsistency of what we've seen with Stewart. What we have seen is when he gets recalibrated, like he did last year, he got pulled out of game 4 and game 5 and Pickard winning against Vancouver.
Right.
From that point on, game 6 and 7 against the Canucks, the 6-game series against Dallas and against Florida, he was good. Like and I do think, I'm not comparing him to Grant Fuhr, but Grant Fuhr was from the Edmonton area, and I think that helped him deal with playing here. And I think Stuart Skinner, you grow up here, he played for the same athletic club at Edmonton that I did. I think that I think it might help a little just because you understand the pressure. And there is pressure. It's sort of like everybody's favorite quarterback's the backup quarterback, and everybody's favorite goalie in hockey is the backup goalie. So, but it's a completely fair question given the ups and the downs that Stewart's had during his NHL career.
Who asked McDavid about playing low-scoring games and winning low-scoring games when he looked like they just lost a playoff series after beating Vegas in 5. He was disgusted.
It was
He's sick of being
Spec here.
It was not. I was on the air doing the post game, and I've asked my share of stupid questions over the years. So, guys, I remember after Game 4, Edmonton and Carolina, the Oilers fell behind 3-1, and the Oilers' power play was 1 for 19. And I asked Gregory Tavish, do you need to look at doing something different on the power play, like maybe having a net front? Sometimes you put George Laraque on the power play. And he goes, next question. And George texts me later that night. He's like, you idiot. Now he's going to scratch me for game number insurance. George never got back into the series after that. So I can tell you it wasn't Gary Lawless, and it wasn't Mark Specker. That reporter shall remain nameless. Daniel Nugent Bowman from The Athletic asked the question. I'm just having fun with you, Daniel. I think the Oilers have shown it, that when they want to lock it down, they can play some solid defensive hockey. And Connor, Connor went hard. Like he got, when he backtracked on that play and sort of cleaned it. When I saw your tweet, you were a little bit panicked, and I don't think he's ever had a concussion, McDavid. Like, I don't recall him. Maybe he had one in junior. I don't know. But, there was some nervousness. Like, and I was watching him a lot on the bench during that. And Connor and Leon don't screw around. Like, hey, they just beat Vegas. They just played 2 of the best defensive games they've played. And so he brought a little bit of heat. That happens once in a while.
I was going to ask one non-Oiler related. Whit, did you have another Oiler one?
No, go ahead, buddy.
Like what we saw the other night with the passing of Mark Scheifele's father, like that was like, I can't remember anything like that happening in the past where somebody's father died unexpectedly and had to play that night in a playoff game. Like that is like,
I think Marty St. Louis, his mom passed through or something like that.
Okay, like just like, yeah, like I don't know how he did it. I mean, the word warrior, like that. Yeah. Like, what were your thoughts on all that? And like I said, have you seen it in the past? I mean, they just answered the question with Martin St. Louis, but just a devastating thing for him to have to go through and a gutsy performance to lace him up.
Yeah, the closest thing I could think of is maybe Brett Favre, right? Like it was a Monday Night Football game, and I think it was against the Raiders, and he put on an incredible performance. I was at a establishment with a couple buddies watching that game, and when he was I'm like, just kill the damn penalty, right? Just get the penalty killed. I think everybody, I don't mind telling you, I lost my dad, and we were in Dallas, and had to. So that was Rod Phillips was the same age as my father. That was the last year Rod did the games with us. Rod had done the Oilers play-by-play from 1972 all the way to the 2009-2010 season. So, clearly in Mark's case, it was unexpected. I think that everybody, just their hearts went out to him. I think just when you watch the Stars, obviously the Jets players consoling Scheifele after, and then the Dallas players, right? It was hard to watch, right? Like you had nothing but empathy. I'm sure you guys are aware of the situation that Tom Ghilardi, the owner of the Dallas Stars, who's from Western Canada, sent a personal jet so that Mark could fly back and be with his family, first class. No surprise, knowing what I know about this. I mean, the Stars have been one of the best organizations in the league for a long, long time. So it was tough, difficult. Am I surprised he played? No, because it's in the DNA of the players. And I'm pretty sure, that's what Mark's father would have wanted him to do too.
Yeah, he gets that penalty, and you're like, please, no, like not while he's in the box. It's just that was so cool. But Scott Arneal's quote was amazing about it, because I hadn't even thought about it this way, that Mr. Scheifele was like a part of the entire Winnipeg Jets family, right? Mark had been there so long that all these guys in the team had come to get to know him. And so it wasn't just like a loss for Mark. Like, it hit everyone so difficult and it's just so heartbreaking that what a warrior to play in that game. He scores a goal, and that was one where I think everyone's rooting for a game 7 just to get him through that. It was incredible. Hats off to him. But we appreciate you kind of talking about that quickly. I guess moving along to wrap up with you. What do you think? What's your final prediction in this series? I have the Oilers in 7. I think it's going to be one of the best series we ever see. What do you think?
Well, I can tell you that the Oilers, I know the players respect these teams. Like this is an older, mature veteran team that has belief in themselves, but is respectful of how good the other teams are, and they know they've got to be locked in. I think Edmonton's they're going to have to be going early, right? Because you take a look at Peter DeBoer's record in Game 7, it's pretty good.
Well, that's why at some point it's got to end. I don't think he can get 10.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yep,
67 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that it's funny. I think if Edmonton, their power play's got to be a little bit better. They got to, and it's funny when you're a team broadcaster, you don't want to be too much of a homer, but you're also in a situation where stuff that you say may get back. Like I have a thing about the power play. If the power play is not going, simplify the power play, get pucks to the net, create chaos. As good as Edmonton can pass the puck around with the guys they got, the reality is the power play was at 9% against Vegas. I don't know if it can survive another series being at 9%.
No.
Especially against a team like Dallas that's got real good special teams. And I also, conversely, I expect Dallas to be better 5-on-5 than they've been so far through the play. Like they've got a negative goal differential through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. The Stars have won 2 road games during the playoffs. So I think Edmonton is, I think both teams have aspects of their game they're going to look to improve. And a lot of people would say, well, Dallas has got the advantage in goal. And I'm just going to say, well, last year, everybody thought that too. I think it's going to be a super close series. Dallas has been knocking on the door. Edmonton's been knocking on the door. Let's go play.
I love it.
We used to would have Newell Brown. I think, did Newell have any time in Edmonton? But if we were struggling on the power play, he would just tell us to one-time pucks, shoot it right away, and then the seams would open up. So especially with Bouchard up top there, if they are struggling with the power play, they just got to start letting it rip from up top, and then those guys can get the rebounds, and then creativity takes over for them.
Especially if they're going to use higher end forwards on the PK, right? Like you want to go ahead and eat a puck with your ankle, your toe, whatever, right? Like that comes with it. But the Oilers do have there's an outside chance at some point. I wonder if you see Wallman, just because he can really hammer the puck as well. He gives a little bit different option. There have been a couple, like Florida's used 2 defensemen on the power play. I don't think we're there yet for Edmonton, just because it's been. I mean, guys, until for 6 straight years, the Oilers have had a power play over 25%, right? Until I'm thinking, I just got to basically until the final 14 games this year when Edmonton didn't have either. Like the last time Edmonton played Dallas built up a 4-0 lead. The Oilers outshot the Stars 44-24, made it a 4-3 game. They didn't have McDavid or Draisaitl in that game. And all that experience those guys got when they didn't have those 2 big, they didn't have either one of McDavid or Leon in the final 14 games. It sunk their power play a bit. And that's why I'd be interested to see if they could get some rhythm. They also haven't had a lot of power plays. Here's a bizarro stat. The Oilers are 0 for 14 on the power play on the road in the playoffs, and they're 6 for 10 at home. They got to find a way to get some power play goals on the road in Dallas.
And Dallas, outside of those last 8-10 games of the regular season, they would be second in the league in penalty kill.
They've been good on the penalty kill for a while, Paul. That's been
I was just saying, those numbers dipped off because of that losing streak that they were on at the end of the season, and I think they bumped down to 4th or 5th best overall in the league by the time the regular season ended. But that's a top 3 PK in the NHL
the last 3 years.
So that's going to be difficult on the road, and I feel like as the playoffs go on, we know how hard it is to get power plays. I feel like the whistles go away more and more as the games progress. But Stauf, we can't thank you enough. I don't know if there was any more questions we had for you. We appreciate your time as always, and like the deep dive insight on what we're looking at with the Edmonton Oilers. It could be like, now that Toronto's out, I'm going to root from a distance. I'm not going to be tarps off on the Jumbotron. I mean, because we had the TNT broadcast too in the finals this year. But I really hope that McDavid and Draisaitl and Canada wins the Stanley Cup for the first time in a long time.
Really flattered that you guys reached back and had me on again. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, Stauf. See you later, buddy. What a guy. What a guy. We got to say thanks to Bob Stauffer. He's the best. I love how he brought up how Skinner played for his club when he was little, right? Like, this is an Edmonton man, Bob Stauffer.
That changed my pick for the series.
Kind of crazy. If you look at DraftKings right now, the series price -110, a complete pick'em for Edmonton versus Dallas, and the fastest game on ice just hit another gear with the conference finals. The Stanley Cup playoffs are where they need to be. The Final Four, legends are made, and DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the NHL. You can take every slap shot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level. If you're new to betting on the playoffs, you're in for an exciting time. Get started with firing up the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Pick your team to win, lock in your wager, and you're off to the races. It's fast, simple, and puts you right in the middle of the action. And here's the kicker. New customers who bet just $5 will score not $200, $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right. Turn $5 into a playoff payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Chiclets. That's promo code Chiclets to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. And another company that we do want to talk about quickly is BetterHelp. Spittin Chiclets is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mental health awareness is growing, but there's still progress to be made. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say that they have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. When people hesitate to get help, it doesn't just affect them. It impacts families, workplaces, and entire communities. This Mental Health Awareness Month, let's encourage everyone to take care of their well-being and break the stigma. The world is better when people are healthy and happy, and I'm telling from personal experience, if you are down in the dumps, if you were in a rut, if there's something going on in your life that you just feel
you're a Leafs fan,
if you're a Leafs fan, tune into BetterHelp. BetterHelp has 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists with a wide range of specialties. So we're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/chiclets to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/chiclets. Guys, we quickly talked about it. That's Scheifele and losing his dad, just heartbreaking. So tough to see Winnipeg lose that series when he's in the penalty box. But shout out to the Jets. They won that game at home. They played a phenomenal game 6 on the road. They get out to the lead because of Mark Scheifele. Hellebuck with a shutout in game 5 was great in game 6. Like, Winnipeg Jets fans, we kind of were all over you guys. You showed out. I mean, you lost to the best team in the conference, right? You lost to a group that is so difficult to beat. It's their 3rd straight Western Conference final, way better than last year. And granted, the first round this year was a struggle, but Winnipeg Jets, I think Ehlers could be moving on, but there's still a lot there. And I think at least Hellebuck, he didn't get the win, but you saw a different guy than we'd seen last year and in the first round this year. I was very happy for him personally. I don't know, Biz, if you had any other takeaways on the Jets and the fight they gave against Dallas.
No, yeah, like it was just nice to see, like you said, the Hellebuck kind of turned the corner and looked way more like himself. Like, sometimes playoff hockey, there could be a little bit of a mental block. A lot of the attention was also directed to the fact that there was a lot of that going on with the team in front of him itself as well, like not looking like that same team in the way that they positioned themselves in the regular season, whether it was through the neutral zone, defensive zone, screening their own goalie, own goals in some cases where it's going off their foot or their ass in the crease area. So, some bad bounces for him, but like you said, it was nice to see towards the end that they looked a lot more like themselves from the regular season. And just from the Scheifele stuff, like, I was just so gutted when they scored when he was in the box. An absolute warrior for lacing him up. I couldn't fathom having to do that after unexpectedly losing my father in the same day. Like, I don't even know, like, and, you know, I think, Anson touched on the broadcast. It's almost probably like to get your mind off of it, at least as much as you could for 3 hours, like, and play the game that you love, was probably a very, like, a very symbolic thing. And the fact that his father would have wanted him to compete with his team and the boys in a place that was an extended family of his as well. So just like an awful thing, but you shift your focus to the handshake line and just like the love and compassion that the Dallas Stars showed to him and in the embraces, and specifically Mason Marchment, who also lost his father unexpectedly, and they had an exchange of words, and I can only imagine what was said and the support that he showed towards Scheifele during this difficult time that he's experienced himself. So absolutely brutal, but it just shines a light on how special the hockey community is, and how, you know, as much as we want to compete and kill each other when it's for the wins and the losses, that, you know, there's way more than the hockey itself. So just a very, very emotional 48 hours for the hockey community, but more importantly, condolences to the Scheifele's family and extended family of the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah. Thinking of the series too, like, oh gee, go ahead, buddy.
Well, yeah, guys, before we move on, I did have one more guy who wanted to stop by and say hi here. A little surprise here for Biz.
Busy boy. Busy boy. Let's go.
I thought it was over.
Let's go.
I thought the torture was over. Big Cesar, how the hell are you doing after that game?
Oh, I thought it was a
7
video.
victory?
Is he live right now?
Oh, he's live.
I'm fucking live, boys. Let's go.
Caesar!
Steve, where are we
Holy
watching the
shit.
game this week?
Man, that was a beating. Literally. We literally put you on my fucking knee and slapped the shit out of you.
All right, you know what? Because you showed up, I'll do another one for you, Cesar.
Let's go.
Caesar, were you nervous at all after 6? Were you nervous at all after you met Oldie?
There we go. No, you know what? I give Biz credit, though. I give Biz credit. He got his good game plan for game 6. He distracted me. That was a great game plan, distracting me. That whole day, my phone was blowing up. I was distracted. I wasn't focused. But you know what? I'm like, game 7, that's it. Fuck it. I need to lock in. And that's it. Well, we had to lock in. The boys locked in. They finally played Panther hockey. And Bob was outstanding.
Well, okay, so you're obviously one of the MVPs of that series with the energy you brought. You were an absolute, you were an extension, as much as Oldie was an extension of me throughout that series. I feel like you were an extension of Panthers Nation, and of course, Keith Yandel, who's not on Twitter, who doesn't use Instagram as much. But, buddy, you brought the heat, and we can't play because of the rights of the music.
Hey, all 26 and a half fans of ours, we had this, baby. We had this.
You are unbelievable. This is one that we can play here.
There we go. There we go.
That's
hey, I don't play,
walk.
guys.
That's
I don't play.
Walk.
Unreal. So were those the girls with their tits out behind you when you did the other video to distract?
I can't say yes or no, but that's for you to determine.
Oh my God. Okay, so going back to the beginning, how long have you been a Florida Panthers fan?
Shit. Since '96. Actually, Bob Van Beesbrook or John Van Beesbrook came to my elementary school, and I remember him like wearing the goalie pads, and I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. But I actually grew up a big football fan. And just like the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I feel for you. My heart goes out to you because I'm a Cowboy fan. So, you know, I know how you guys feel.
We're the Cowboys of the NHL.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So you guys, I totally feel you. But yeah, no, John Van Beesbrook, man, came to my school, and then that '96 playoff run, year of the rat, and I just became hooked and became a season ticket owner back in 2016. The arena is literally 5 minutes from my house, so I used to roll my chair from my house to the arena. So, man, awesome job by the boys. And it's crazy because 3 years ago I got diagnosed with grade 1 chondrosarcoma. So I had a tumor in my right knee, and 2 years ago, I ended up going under cardiac arrest. So it was the year when the Carolina Hurricanes, or when we beat Boston, when we swept them, or not when we swept them, when we
came
when
back.
we were down 3-1 and we came back. So the day after, it was, I think, May 5th. So I had to go under the operating table, and but yeah, man, I was in a coma for like 2 weeks. I came back, and the first words when I came back were "Let's go Panthers." So that goes to tell you where my mind was and shit.
And how are you doing now? And what exactly were you born with? I don't know if it's
So
a
I
rude
was
question.
born with osteogenesis imperfecta. It's a brittle bone disease, so I have grade 3 or type 3. So my bones are very susceptible to breaking. My whole life I've dealt with broken bones. So the best way to deal with that is watching sports. That's why I love sports. Like, it gets your mind off of like all the bad shit you go through. And, that's why I started my own podcast. So I want to, show people and tell other people that, there's other ways to motivate yourself. And I want to, share other people's stories on how they use sports as a motivation tool throughout their life. And, I've been through a lot my whole life, but nothing's impossible. I got to coach high school football. It was a great opportunity. I was never able to play. So they gave me an opportunity to be part of the team and be part of the coaching staff. I've done some motivational speaking and stuff like that. So, I give a lot of credit to a lot of my friends, Kelly, Shauna, Cameron. They've been my backbone, my support. My little brother Alan, my brother Albert, and my little brother actually passed away 2 years ago in a bike accident. So he was a big Florida Panther fan. We used to ride from my house to the arena, and he would ride on the back of my chair, and we would just book it every time. So winning the cup last year was fucking unbelievable. And I don't know if you guys saw the video of when Paul Maurice gave me a big hug after in the parade. So that moment was so fucking special. Just all that negativity, all the stuff that happened before was gone. It was like, damn, this is what it's all about,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull up that video right now that you're talking about.
And shout out to Mark Scheifele, man. I had this with me yesterday. We're with you because as a hockey community, we're one family, So
yes, and that's so well said, and so sorry for the loss of your brother, and that's why you're what's great about sports. Like, you're a fan. You, like you said, it takes your mind off things, and I'm just wondering. Yeah, this is it right there. The video.
Dude,
They had to cover your eyes.
You know what's crazy? I actually quit drinking 2 years ago. I got some funny backstories to that, but they gave me a beer, and I was like, I'm just gonna pour. I want to celebrate it. I want to be like the boys in the locker room, right? And dude, it was just a fucking awesome moment. Though I do wish they would have gave me those goggles. They ended up taking them back, but
I got a question though, Cesar. Because you saw Tampa have all this success, and all these Panthers fans. Oh, there it is,
dude.
That's
I
awesome.
swear to,
what a legend.
Amazing.
I gotta. If there's one day, my goal is to talk with him one-on-one because he's unbelievable. He's such a great guy. I kind of hope it's a Peter DeBoer, Paul Maurice Stanley Cup.
Oof.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Don't tell that to Whit.
Coming at you already, Whit.
Yes, kick you off the podcast.
No. Hey, I got to give credit to the Oilers, man. They remind me of the Panthers of last year, where they lost.
The Cup champs.
Yes, and they're coming. You could tell the way they're playing. They're coming, and Draisaitl had an unbelievable year. McDavid he's hungry. So don't put it past them.
So I wanted to get to quickly, Biz. You had all the success in Tampa, and things just for so long in Florida, it was a struggle. New ownership comes in. Yeah. I just would love to talk to you about what happened against Columbus, right? Like you had that record-breaking season, and you're probably like, finally, it's our time. Like that had to be the lowest moment as a Panthers fan for you. To see what's happened since is just so incredible. But that series, it must have been like, oh my God, are we ever going to get over this? Are we ever going to become a legit cup contender?
I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I think. When Benny Viola bought the team, though, I have a great story to that. During that year, they were playing the New York Rangers. I think it was in December. And I happened to be at the game, and I actually ran into him in the elevator. And I turned around, it was just me and him. And I was like, holy shit, you're Benny Viola. And he looks back at me. He's like, yeah, hey, how are you? I was like, I'm Cesar. He goes, oh, yeah, everybody knows you. I was like, oh, shit. Benny Viola knows me. That's pretty awesome. But he ended up taking me into the locker room during the intermission. Dude, that was fucking special, man. Unbelievable. Super nice guy, down to earth. And from what I hear, he's like family first, you know? So you could tell by the culture that they build in the locker room. Like everything is like, they do everything together. He's done a great job with the organization. And look at the Commanders in the NFL. They changed owners. And what happened last year? Jaden Daniels, they ended up getting the right pieces. So that goes to tell you, like, the right ownership and the right general managers, you can get things done. And I got a message for the Leafs fans. Don't be down on your team. You guys were much better this year. We told on our podcast, on our Cats and Rats podcast, shout out to my boys out there. We've been saying it all year. Like, this Toronto team is legit. They're not going to be an easy out. They got the players. It had Steven Lawrence, OEL, Stolars, unfortunately, that he wasn't able to play. But maybe Biz and Stoli can play some poke check over there in the offseason. They might get some better muscles out there. But no, they've gotten a lot better. I think they're in the right direction. We'll see what happens with Marner here in the offseason, but I think they're moving in the right direction, and get the right pieces in there. They have a chance to go all the way.
Thank you for that. That was very kind of you after stuffing me in a locker like Matthew Tkachuk and Brad Marchand the whole second round.
You started it.
That's true.
You know what, though? Fans
coming across
your heart, man. Hey, you mess with us.
I know, but if I don't say that, I don't come across your profile, and then we never get to meet, and we never get you on the podcast.
That's true,
right?
Hey, thanks for the jersey. It's fitting nice.
In order to make up for my comment, what I wanted to do was, I don't know if you've ever been to Carolina to watch a game. I don't know if it's going to be possible in the next couple of days, but let's say they go back to game 5 in Carolina. G at some point is going to be going down there. What if we paid for your flight, hotel, got you tickets, and got you to a game to go on the road to watch Florida in Carolina? Would you be interested in doing that?
I might be interested, boys.
That's my truce right there to you, is I'm going to fly you out there.
All
We're
right.
going to get you to a road game, and maybe Matthew Tkachuk will score another OT winner when he says fire up the jet and peels out of the rink before they even fucking.
I got the Matthew Tkachuk haircut.
Yo.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, so we're going to get your information. We're going to figure this out, and hopefully we could time it with you, G, and we might even send liaison Oldie down there just to kind of be part of the tailgate festivities.
I love Oldie, man. Hey, he hit me up last night after the game. Great dude. Met with him after the Panther game too. He stayed with us and we talked hockey. Super awesome dude. Really appreciate everything you guys have done. This is what the hockey community is all about. Like, we might have been talking shit online, but you know what? We brought a whole bunch of people, new people into the hockey world, and that's what it's all about, right, boys?
These guys talk shit to me every fucking podcast. Did you not see the
Biz is
opener
acting
today?
like he doesn't talk shit. Biz is acting like he's getting bullied. Hey,
look at Singsy.
Cesar.
Look
Yo.
at Singsy, Spirit Airlines. I'm gonna get you
Biz
a,
will have you on a FedEx
Greyhound
plane.
bus ticket and a tent.
Shit, we'll put him in a luggage instead. He doesn't deserve the Spirit Airlines. That's a first class for him.
Yeah.
Hey, Big C's, honestly, talking to you, like it's resiliency, like what you've been through in your life. It's so incredible, like that this is what hockey does. Like us three get to meet you through hockey. And my main takeaway from talking to you is that you're scared of the Oilers if you meet us again in the finals.
I'm not
really
scared.
what
I'm not scared because you know what? In order to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. So bring it, Whit.
Oh,
bring it, Whit.
Back on.
Bring it, Whit.
Yeah.
I'm not backing down, baby.
Very true.
Yeah.
I love it, buddy. Well, so what is it on YouTube? Big C's show? Is that what they just had?
Big
Cats
C
and
show.
Rats.
Yep. And then I also got my the Cats and Rats podcast as well. You guys can follow us there. We do the pre-games and after games as well on there. Talk all NHL. We have an NHL After Dark too. So, hey, trying to get going, man. Trying to get going here.
Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. It was great banter back and forth, and we'll figure out how to.
Hey, anytime you're in Florida, man, you hit me up, man. We gotta catch up.
If the Leafs are playing you guys next year, I might kidnap their secret weapon. I might just take you.
Okay, hey, why not?
That's awesome.
They need an MVP.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Cats and Rats. Check it out. Check it out right now. We appreciate it, bud.
What a way to end the pod. What a way to end
man.
the pod.
Talk about pulling on the heartstrings, man. What a fucking person he is.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. He was great. Giving it back to you, Biz, coming on.
Well,
He's
I
got
asked
the rat
G,
right as he comes on.
I asked G to play the video, and he said he can't because of the what do you call it? The music licensing. But I'll show you guys without playing it was the Eye of the Tiger sound, and he had this one going on. This was him. Yeah, there it is. Eye of the Tiger was playing, so he's hitting the fucking speed bag before the game, getting ready. Eye of the Tiger, it's the
this Cowboys hat. This Cowboys hat right there.
And then he wheels over. Towel on the forehead. What a legend. What a legend.
He owns you, Biz, and
he owned me. He owned me. Him, Tkachuk, and Marchand, the big three.
Yeah.
Oh, boys, we're on to the conference finals. Incredible. It feels like it's been 10 minutes since the first round began, and it feels like 10 years at the same time. It's crazy. It's like being a parent, I guess. But I think we're in for two amazing series. I know Hurricanes fans are probably like, all you guys except for G is just counting us out. But I don't think it's at all going to be a sweep. And then Dallas and Edmonton. I don't see how that doesn't go 7. But I am so excited. I can't believe that they started the Eastern Conference before the Western Conference. Also, another complaint I do have is first game in Edmonton for Game 3. It's an afternoon game. Kind of sucks, I think.
Here we go. Here come the excuses.
Not an excuse. Not an excuse. I will not use it as an excuse. No way. I just kind of, I don't know. People are very busy on the weekends during the afternoon. I know the U.S. loves using those afternoon TV windows, but personally, I was hoping for, all night games, but I still think it's going to be great. I believe in McDavid. I believe in Leon. They're going to be their toughest test by far, but I cannot wait to begin this. I cannot wait to just sit down and get my thoughts written down, ready for each show on the Oilers and the Stars and the Panthers and the Hurricanes. So it's been great. And Ed Biz said it best. Everyone watching right now, thank you so much. What a family we have here. Amazing fans that we appreciate. Without you guys, we're not even here.
I'm going to take Oilers in 7. I think it's going to be
No. No. Oh, stay away from us.
He don't want
Yes,
you.
what are you picking?
Merle's tweeted too. Like, I'm going to hop on the Oilers. No, fucking get away from us, dude.
All right, fine. I'll pick Dallas in 7.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then, Jens, what about you?
I got Dallas in 6. I had Dallas, Florida going to the finals. I got to stick with it.
So
Sorry,
those
Whit.
of you, the Dallas fans who are in the chat or who end up listening to the podcast, I feel like you guys didn't have enough representation on this pod. Next pod, we're going to try to get on someone from Dallas. That way we can balance everything out. And also, we should probably try to get somebody from Carolina. We gave Carolina a lot of flowers on this one, but it was very Oilers, Leafs, and Florida specific. So we feel you. We hear you. We want to try to snap it around as much as possible. But as Whit said, we love and appreciate you guys like family. The Leafs are dead. Too many passengers.
I can't believe it.
Yes,
I didn't see it coming.
Wait, how about
Everyone-
the text to the group chat? Like, oh yeah, well, Leafs are gonna win tonight. No, they're not. They're never gonna do
They're
it.
going to lose 6-1. Game notes Friday, noon Eastern. Biz is out. The Leafs are out. Keith and I remain. We might meet again. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Jovo. Thank you to the Staff Monster. And thank you to Cesar. Love
Matthew
you guys.
Tkachuk.
Belt and Matthew Tkachuk. Jesus. Belt to ass. Have a great week.
Go Cats.